Oh, hi guys. We're kind of waiting on Space Monster here at the moment, hopefully, because my Barry would like to have a little chat tonight.
I would like to have a chat, but it's going to be very, very awkward having the chat that I want to have just to a chat window. I don't know. I don't normally do things like this, so it would be a hell of a lot more comfortable if I had this chat, but I need someone to have the chat with. So it had already been teed up with Space Monster.
You know, Space Monster said she would.
Because I've spoken to her before about things. but it's not really going to work if I don't have somebody up here.
Because I don't count.
No. In this instance, no, she doesn't count at all. Not in the slightest.
So yeah, should we play another song?
Well, I guess so. I need, unless somebody wants to get up here so that I can kick this off. But basically, what it is I've got a series of questions that I have, and don't anybody be alarmed. None of these questions pertain to any one singular person or one singular event or allegation or anything else that seems to happen on these tubes at all. They're all pretty generalized questions, but basically, and I'm only going to have to repeat myself. Here
There
she is. No, I
Yes,
won't have to repeat
see.
myself.
I'll just pop you.
Beautiful.
Wrong one, Joe. I shall just get the link for you, Spacey. By the way, Barry is the one that requested this morning. I don't know what he's going to ask.
No, she's got no idea.
I told him not to tell me. I didn't want to know. So I'm virtually just the chat looker.
She's a real life moderator. If she does something wrong, I'll get to bop her on the head because she's sitting right next to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We're very...
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, yes. Barry wanted your presents, Spacey. He specifically said Spacey, Tori, and Mel Mel.
Or anyone is. And the reasons will become clear.
You know, I honestly... you know me, Space Monster. I don't talk behind the scenes or anything. So I've just put a word out today. You know, Tori and Mel Mel may not even know. Not even know. But hopefully they do.
At the end of the day, the reason why I chose you three is because I know that you three can hold a conversation without it descending into something stupid.
Thanks, Barry.
Well, I'll just call it how it is, Joe.
Thanks, Barry.
Sorry. And I really want to have this conversation. Like,
did that link pop up?
Well, it's there.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's actually... I don't have my phone.
You clearly know what you're doing.
No, it's not that, darling. Oh, there she is. See, the link showed up. Hey, Spacey.
Hi, hang on. I just need to turn off my speakers. Hang on.
Alrighty.
Feedback.
Oh, look, someone's in trouble. The Popo. I hope you like my little Trevi picture too.
It's the little things, isn't it?
It is. It's it's my dad's favourite little car. And all I did was put it on a tile and took a photo.
One of the best photos you've ever took, though. Honestly, it is.
We shall be with you very shortly, guys. We're having a bit of tech issue at the moment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, darling.
Sure can.
I had myself plugged in the wrong area, which is not unusual.
in the wrong end, Spacey.
Oh, God.
What are you giving Joe material like that? Haven't you learnt yet?
Oh, no.
You can't feed her material like that. It's like feeding the monkeys. Don't do it.
I know.
They're liable to throw shit back at you.
Well, that's okay. I'm really good at catching. I'm a good keeper. Don't you worry about that.
So am I, mate. I've been putting up with it for 17 years.
Listen, I can't help you with that one, you. Yeah, I just
No,
can't.
I don't need help. Trust me, I don't need help. Not at all.
So what are we here for, Barry?
Okay, we're here because I hear that much of what goes on this place that it's about time that I've got some questions here that I want to ask about. Well, I guess it can be the true crime community, you know, and what is the so-called true crime community. I've got a bunch of questions here. Now, I explained before, Spacey, that none of these questions, I can assure you, have anything to do with a singular person or a singular event or a singular anything, or even a group anything for that matter.
Barry's had training, Joe doesn't.
Yeah, so there's nothing like that. And in fact, I'm not here to bash anyone, regardless of what anybody might have thought might happen tonight. No, I'm not here to bash anyone whatsoever. I'm here to get an understanding. And the only way I'm going to get an understanding is by simply talking to the true crime community, whoever is willing to listen, so that they can tell me their answers to these questions. It's not so much about my opinion. I'm here to listen. You know, my background is I'm just a normal bloke pushing 40. I do just enough to fit outside the socially accepted circle, but I can pretend just enough to fit inside it. That is
like everybody.
Like everybody. That's it. I'm nothing special. I've got no credibility in this area whatsoever. None, especially in true crime. I have no credibility. I'm interested in a lot of topics, but my credibility stretches as far as the next man down the road. Whereas talking to someone like you, you're in this community, I've seen, for a long time, and others as well. So you've got somewhat of a grasp on it. People are already listening to you, so you must have some sort of credibility with people. So that's why I chose you, or asked for you, or one of the others, or all three, or anybody else for that matter. Everyone's opinion is valid here. Even trolls. The world needs trolls, and we'll cover that later. But so yeah, that's basically what I'm here for. So that's the challenge. Do you accept?
I always accept a challenge.
Awesome. This is going to be great.
I have my gladiator suit on, and I'm going to ask you if you're going to be entertained at the end of the day.
Well, that's right. This is about being a bit lighthearted and a bit entertained, but at the end of the day, I'm seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
I think everybody else needs to hear a little bit of knowledge and needs to think a little bit more before they leap. This is why Jay's been ordered just to watch the chat. And the way that I want to run it is I'll ask these questions, we'll have a chat about it, and then we'll address anyone that said anything in the chat about it, and then move on to the next question. That sound good to you?
Sounds perfect.
Awesome. All right. Question number 1.
Ooh.
It's like a game show. No, Jay,
it is. I can hardly wait. Well, I can hardly wait to make a blue boo.
Yeah. I want to know, what is true crime by definition of the audience? So that includes you, and that includes anybody else that's here. What do you see as being true crime?
Well, true crime by definition really excuse me, has to do with old cases.
Old cases.
The original true crime is pretty much anything that happened pre-internet, and you had to wait for books to be published. For instance, you would have heard of Ted Bundy.
Oh yes. Did I mention I've been in jail for 17 years?
Yep, that's right. Well, see, that's what's true crime. That originally is what true crime is that for me, if I talk about me from my early days as a child, I used to like all those really bizarre detective cartoon books, which really were explicit about being quite violent towards women. But the true crime was happening around those times where this was new. It was like, this is when serial killers the word serial killers were coming about with Ted Bundy. So that there is what those cases there is originally what true crime is. And
I guess I should rephrase the question. What is true crime today on YouTube?
There is no true crime today. And the problem with it, what it faces now, is that you have it is $1 billion business. It really is. And you with the internet now, like anything, you can be fed as much or as little. It's all up to you.
Exactly.
So the problem that's faced now is that for me, when I found YouTube, which was, around 2013, when YouTube was really beginning to expand, and see, it didn't expand really big until, and there's two cases that I've said on my own channel, the two cases that catapulted YouTube into the stratosphere was the NFL match with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson, where he pulled her
The nip
breast.
slip.
Yep. And the tsunami. And that was the first time. And so what you see there is two dramatic situations.
Yeah, I know, but it's far removed from the, dare I say it, Chris Watts. I mean, the first thing
Yeah,
that
but
you was a bit lighthearted
exactly
compared to mass murder and a tsunami. Well, that's natural drama. You can't really dodge that.
No, you can't. But people got to. But if you think, here's the thing about YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is the way the algorithms are set up. It is set up around drama. It is set up around tragedy. Even though we can go in and find, funny little goats and kitty cats and all those things, it makes most of its money off the dramatic side of life, like the news does.
Just like everything does. I mean, I've said it to
Yeah.
Joe before, and I've said that, like, not that she looks at it like this, but I think that most people in this are looking at it in this way. Like, I lined up all the TV shows that she's ever been into. And
Sorry, leave my TV show history away from
everything from Big Brother to Geordie Shore, you
Oh
name
my
it.
God.
All the reality TV shows you can think of. The most
darling,
widely
don't do
screened
that.
celebrity,
Don't
get me the
do
fuck
that
out
to
of here.
her. Don't do that to her.
I was an OG Geordie Shore.
Like, but
20 years.
every single one of it based on drama.
30.
It is, and we're not. Listen, let's not bring Joey into that, okay? Let's deal with her in regards to true crime. So, if we're looking at what they regard as true crime, what happened is that for me, who was always into this, I know so many of the old cases, so many obscure cases all around the world, whether it be in just Australia or in Europe or whatever. I'm interested in all of it because I'm fascinated really at the human condition, how somebody can be so bizarre and so callous to do some of the things that they have to do to a human being. Or to any that's the key, right? And then I think that's also what drives Joey or anyone like myself. However,
for sure.
What happened with the Watts case, it was just around that time, about a year or two before that, live chat started happening on YouTube.
Yep.
And that there is the key, is live chatting. And if you, as a YouTuber, are exceptional at doing that and making sure that you can like some of them can handle anywhere between, like, I get 4 people in my chat sometimes. There are some people that get hundreds of thousands of people in the chat. Nobody ever sees it. But having said that, down the bottom here, and this is what's called the bottom of YouTube. It is the bottom of YouTube. You have specific channels that have been around 2-3 years before we came into the scene, that had already begun, or maybe even just a year, but had already begun to establish themselves and already territorially marked out their areas.
Oh, for sure, because I think people forget that at the end of the day, YouTube's a business.
It is.
People are getting on here. The majority of people getting on here, I would imagine, aren't getting on here for shits and giggles. Like, for a start, not everybody can get on a camera. Not everybody's comfortable with doing that. Not everybody's even comfortable with talking behind an avatar.
Absolutely.
And I think the big problem is that you've had a few people that have jumped from being behind a keyboard. Now, we all know the term keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people will say things like, for instance, like, I don't know you. I've met you twice.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to treat you as someone that I would presume to know, or that I presume that you know me.
That's correct.
You know, that makes sense. You know, like I wouldn't go down to the pub and disagree with something that some stranger said, and then all of a sudden get all up in his face like a lot of people on here do.
No, and some people can do that in a pub. That's obviously after a while when they've either had too many drinks or they're unstable, right? So that happens as well. And that's what I've said. YouTube's like going into a pub that you don't really know. There's a few people that you might know, but it is a bit of a weird place because everybody's checking everybody else out. Everybody is always suspicious, apart from those that are first joining that have no idea about how the game is. And it is a game.
Yep, it is. Oh, totally. Totally. It is a game. Bloody oath it is. At the end of the day, it's a business, you know, and people will fight. When I've seen some of this, because I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube too. You know, I just don't do this type of thing.
No, you're in your own area, and you probably see this similar shit, but that's in a man's area too, and they do different things, don't they?
This is the thing, Spacey. I don't see this shit in the circles that I'm in. None of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
None of it.
Listen, you've got females involved here. Trust me on this. Females are the worst. I'm surprised that females aren't serial killers, but this is where they become serial killers. This is where they live out their fantasy. Women are the worst people that you would ever want in school. They are so brutal. They are so vicious. And the difference with women is that they will always carry a vendetta. Blokes just go and punch it out. Women, they'll carry it to the day you die.
Yeah, it's not
it's not healthy.
It's not a very good way to be.
No, it isn't.
It's not a very good way to be. It's the type of person that if I steal a point off you, well, you've got to steal a point off me to get even type of thing.
Yeah, it's this even Stevens thing.
In a bloke's world, not every bloke will go and punch it out. Some of us do have intelligence. And
yeah, that's right. There's people that'll just say, look, step down and all those things. But if you look at females and males, if it comes down to it, males will have a punch up and then they'll walk over and say, come on, let's go get a beer. That was fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times,
and females will pull each other's hair out and then they'll walk to their friends and say, put poison in a drink when she walks up here. Do you know what I mean? There is something really insipid about some of us females. And
some.
Yeah. And I'm not saying all females, like I'm not saying all males.
I would never paint someone with the same brush that I painted somebody else.
So my point is that if you look at the areas that we're in, it is predominantly female.
Oh, for sure.
Females are brutal and territorial, as opposed to males that really in the animal kingdom are incredibly territorial. So
for sure.
It's crazy. Women are just I understand what Joey's going through.
Yeah. What I'm asking here, it's not even so much about what Joey's going through. I think you forget that I sit 1.5 meters away from this chair that I'm sitting on now.
And I do forgive pretty easily too. I have to say that.
What I'm wanting to do here isn't so much about what Joey's going through. But
your experience too.
Yeah, well, it's my experience as well, but it's also to get people thinking about their own behavior, whether they're a male or a female. I mean, we're living in a world where we've got to start respecting other people's pronouns. Now, I'm not going down that path, but I'm just making that statement. That's how progressive the world is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So we've got to stop this women are bitches and blokes are thugs mentality. And people have got to start owning their own behavior. And that's why I've designed these questions,
especially
for people to ask themselves. And
especially her.
Jo just said it herself, especially her. I've been trying to train her for a long time.
Listen, it's always that's the thing, Jo. You are questioning yourself, right? And that's what Baz is saying right now. We are all ultimately responsible for what happens. If we decide to engage, that's our responsibility.
Yep.
Right? So there is certain areas that we are responsible for, and then there's other times where we've walked in to the pub having no idea that there's a fucking fight going on.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Right?
right. Like I've tried to explain to Joe.
Yeah.
When she sees red, it's like looking at red across the other side of the highway. And instead of stopping to watch for traffic, she just runs and generally gets hit by a truck. It may have been the right thing to do to run after whatever it is that she's seen red for, but it's not exactly getting the message across that you needed. Whereas I'm the complete opposite. I'll look both ways at a roundabout.
Well, you have to do what you said. If you're going to cross a road, you have to look to the left and look to the right and look to the right again. What is it? Exactly. Look to the left and look to the right, look to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you've got to look, and that's what we get told as children.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So true crime to me is that other people like Aussie True Crime has said, they've said true crime for that person is that ends in convictions. Well, the problem is that some, like if you go and look at the Zodiac killer, there's never been a conviction. That is a true crime case. So everybody has a different perspective, but if you really look at the genre as it started around the 60s, 70s with all those serial killers, Ted Bundy, the Green River Killer, bloody, what's his name, the clown, BTK. All those were very specific because it was very new. Other people now everybody calls it true crime, and I don't see it as that.
Well, from what I've seen today, and I agree, and I can see where Aussie True Crime is coming from.
Yeah, and I can too.
You've got to have a conviction, because to me, I think that's in the context of there's a lot of shit slinging that I see going on. You know, like this latest one with Gabby Petito or whatever, and everyone.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
At the end of the day, he got eaten by Crocs, didn't he?
No,
you know, like
it's ridiculous, and
nobody was right. But the amount of shit slinging that was going on was just incredible.
It's ridiculous, and that's the thing, is that what you have now is that you have the drama channels, and this is what's happened. Anything that was originally what we thought was true crime in our little area, those channels have disappeared because they've been spat out, eaten up and spat out, right? They've been able to get rid of them through this kind of behavior.
Yep, and I can see that.
And so therefore you have really no real true crime channels, because you have what has previously been drama now doing true crime in our area.
Exactly. And the ironic thing that I see is that the drama that becomes created, in that the very drama that becomes created is calling out somebody else's drama. It's like a constant circle. So we'll create drama because somebody else created drama.
Well, not only that, what will happen is you'll have a channel that originally had some true crime going on, but has also another channel that is drama. And so the lines are blurred, and that they do a cross section. And one thing I will absolutely and categorically stand by, the majority of the people that are on our area where Joey and us have been around, they're all convicted criminals.
Yeah,
so
right.
That says a lot about what we're going to get, because their whole motivation, and this is what I've said before, is that this is a gigantic multi-level marketing. It's a Ponzi scheme.
It certainly seems that way.
It is.
Really does.
They go hunting and gathering. One channel's bigger than the other, and then they gather up as many people as they can, because they need those people, because they've used up all the other people that they've had for the past 3 years. They're gone. They've got rid of them. There's been falling out. So they've got to go and hunt and gather new people, and they're all new people that are coming in, and they honestly believe that this person that is befriending them
Yep.
really likes them, but
Yep.
they're grooming them because what it's all about is fucking money.
And this is exactly why I wanted to make this video. This is exactly why I needed someone such as yourself that's within this community to be able, and that's why I've designed these questions the way that I have to draw out these answers, because I'm really hoping that people will find this video, and I'm hoping that it might make them think twice and maybe open up their eyes. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, because I've got a fair few other questions here, and some of them, you know,
Yeah, just keep going.
a
But I
normal
hope I've
person
answered that
outside of
little
it.
bit of a question. I probably answered some questions already to
You already
guys.
have, yes.
Yeah.
You've already knocked off number 2, which is what is attractive about true crime, and we've already said why people are attracted to true crime and realistically what true crime is today. And I mean, and again, I'll openly state, not that there's many in the chat or anything else like that, if we're wrong, and or if you've got a different opinion or something like that, please come on up. Either come on up or say something in the chat. Don't be scared.
I don't block anyone.
That's what this is all about, because I need to understand this. So the more opinions that I get, or leave them in the comments later on.
Yep.
So you knocked off number 2, which was that, which is, you know, what makes it popular. And I think we've come to the conclusion that people like a train wreck. And that's, you know, throughout the adult
Well, not
world.
only that, I think one of the things, Baz, about it, for females in particular, if we look at Gabby Petito as a case, and then I'm going to bring you over to Daniel Morecambe's case back here, and also then to little Cleo, right?
Yep.
I don't think
you've also got different cultural behaviors and how those cultures have behaved and are allowed to behave. Whereas, for instance, in the States, they have this constitution, but the constitution is constantly being flawed all the time because they there's to look at their constitution properly and read it as it is. It was written at a time that it was a republic, like Australia has, tried to go towards for many years. But the reason why some of those laws were put there was to protect the common person against dictatorships and against the oppressive society that slavery had brought them under. And yet the constitution by those people now has been bastardized, and anyone can bastardize anything if they want to. They can turn it around like they do with the Bible or the Quran.
That is a whole nother rabbit hole I can go down another time if anyone's enjoying this.
But that's the thing. It's all down to interpretation, and man, a human being, has the ability to interpret it any way they choose fit to suit whatever agenda they have.
History is generally written by the victor.
That's right.
You can't write it when you're dead.
You can't.
So,
and I mean, and if you look at what's happened to Gabby now and the craziness that's happening there, and you look at someone like the Daniel Morecambe case, I mean, everyone was just like, I wasn't even here, but I got back, and when I was watching it on, 60 Minutes and all those, because you got reputable information. You didn't have the craziness that happens in the United States, because there's so much conspiracy around so many things. And if we go back to Morecambe case, that took 10 years to solve. Those guys pushed and pushed to get the coroner's inquest eventually, and then they went and did that fucking Mr. Big sting. You know what I mean?
Oh, they did well.
That came from Canada. That's whole like that there, and as Daniel's father said, that was fucking crazy. That was like, he didn't say fuck because he never says it, but he's like, that was just crazy. Like, they didn't even know it was going to happen. But that's the point. We shouldn't be knowing, and we shouldn't be trying to have conjecture. Like right now with Cleo Smith, some of the people from the United States, they're pointing the finger at the parents.
Oh, look, there's a reason why. If you ring up a talkback show on the radio, and
Oh,
you don't
listen,
talk about
we
something
know that
before,
why, but we
they
know
will
that.
not talk to you about it. You know, like people forget that this is a worldwide platform. Anybody can come along and see what the hell we've been talking about tonight. And I see all of these people slinging that much shit about people they don't know, about situations they've got no idea about. It's just hearsay and conjecture. When there's trained people, they do it for a living. Some of them would hate their job, just like anybody else. Oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to go to another dead baby. Great. You know, like, and then on top of that, he's got all of these people talking shit on the internet, and that just puts more work on him because now he's going to have to go and deal with the family in some sort of respect or something like that. I'm sure it would do some sort of damage because I happen to know a few ex-policemen, and that is their opinion on all of this shit. It does nothing but muddy the waters. You're trying to do somebody else's job from your lounge room.
Exactly. Well, that's what I said in my live tonight when we were talking about, I was talking about relationship abuse. And basically what I've said, for me, abuse is the line. It doesn't matter what it is.
Oh, for sure.
Abuse is it because there's different relationship abuse then has all the things associated. But the point with that I was trying to say there is every 2 minutes a police officer in Australia is being sent out to domestic violence situations, which could be horrendous, like the case that happened here in Queensland, where that mother and the children were set on fire.
Yep.
Look,
Right?
I don't want to. I'm not the type to air me dirty laundry on the internet, but I can tell you I've got somewhat experience with what you're talking about. So,
but you know what I'm saying? It's like those guys, and I deal with the coppers as well in some of the areas that I'm in, and I was talking to them recently, and they're like doing all the because I'm around the COVID stuff at the moment. And I said, so how's it going for you guys? Then they're like, oh, thank God. They said, it's better than us being called out to DVs every single day. Because what they have to deal with, it's scary. One, it's scary shit for them because they don't know what to expect. At the same time, they're walking into something that can be so devastating emotionally and mentally for them that's in their head for the rest of their life.
You're dead right. And then imagine how they feel when they see the shit talking that goes on here.
Exactly.
I bet 90% of them have never even seen a dead body or blood and guts.
I know. I mean, I've seen heaps of them. You know, I have because I used to nurse. I've also done it on. I've been at incidences. You know, I've saved lives and things like. So for me, I've seen some stuff. I know what to expect, and any given time, if anything I see, I might get a shock. But one of the things I go straight into, it's into the mode of what do I do? What have I got? How do I deal with this? Where am I safe? What's the environment? Who's alive? Who's dead? What do I do? You know what I mean? You've got all those things that are trained. You're trained. And so straight away you might go and get the shock and say, what the fuck? And then you just go, your training kicks in.
You see, it's for those reasons that I tend not to go anywhere near this type of a subject because I really don't want to know, which brings me to my next questions. So we've pretty well just covered what makes it popular, what's attractive about it. I think we've just covered when it becomes, I had question 3, when does true crime become false crime? And I think we've just covered that. You can't go talking shit about someone that hasn't been convicted. There's a reason why you can't talk about unconvicted shit on the radio, on a public network, because you don't know when you're corrupting the case and you just open yourself up to all sorts of litigation. It's not funny. And not to mention, you end up spurring a mob mentality because nobody's been punished yet.
Well, that's exactly right, Dazza, because everywhere in Western world, you are innocent until you are proven guilty.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I understand where you were coming from with an unsolved case because, there's a criminal out there somewhere, maybe, could have been eaten by gators. I can understand that, but it doesn't mean that everybody can just run around talking shit about anybody that they like, you know?
No, and see what you have happening right now with
exactly
the Gabby
that.
Petito case is you have a lynch mob.
Yep. Because that's what happens. Because when something like that happens and no one had been convicted and no one's been caught, well, blood hasn't been satiated, has it?
No, and so
There's no one in chains. There's no one going to the death chair. There's no one doing any of that. So they're out for blood. And you start
exactly.
stirring shit like that up on here. And again, I want people to find this video for when they go and be lured by this type of behavior before they go handing over their heart and spending their time.
We don't see. Here's the thing: we don't have the death penalty here. The
No, we
US
don't.
does, right?
I know that. Yes.
And so, even though there are people that, you know, when we have horrendous crimes, people will say, you know, fucking string him up, and that's emotional responses, and you're going to get that. And there are also people that want the death penalty here, but the vast majority of Australians will be dead against it because America is a very good example of putting people to death that are innocent.
Oh shit, yeah. When prison becomes a business,
yes, which it is.
Once you've privatized it, it makes money to lock people up.
Exactly.
And, you know, again, that's a whole nother rabbit hole for how we got there, which I'm happy to talk about at some point. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But that is what it is. Prison is a business.
It is, and the majority of them, if you look at the United States, the majority of them are lower income, black or ethnic.
Yep.
Males or females.
Yep.
And the reason why is because they can. They can lock them up because they can. They don't have the money to get a lawyer. In Australia, there's no defense. There's none.
There's no defense. There's no education. There's no drive. There's no social skills. You know, I'm certainly not trying to be derogatory or anything else like that. But people have got to know I'll call a spade a spade. That's just how it is. And I understand why they go, it's fucking wrong. You know, what they do is completely wrong.
If you've got Netflix, I've said on my live a couple of days ago, there's a documentary which is amazing called The Phantom. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I just want you to watch it because I watched it without knowing it. And I think it's always better to sometimes watch things without knowing it because you watch it and then you're just like, oh. And I suggest you both watch that because I think it will be a really interesting discussion that you could have, especially after we've had this discussion.
Yeah, sure.
It's really important to have discussions and be open about it. You don't have to agree on everything. You just don't. And and the point is we shouldn't agree on everything.
No, we shouldn't. You don't grow. If everybody agreed on everything all the time, we'd be eating baked beans and sausages for the rest of our fucking lives, wouldn't we?
Oh my God! Thank God I don't do that because beans means farts, you know, and
sausages. And I hate sausages.
And sausages, I hate sausages too, and they make you have big long cables.
We wouldn't be individuals, and we wouldn't have different thoughts. And that's why I wanted to have this chat. So we've covered that one.
Yep.
I'm not sure whether the next question's irrelevant, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway, just for food for thought. But it was, what is the objective of the audience in this subject? Like when a lynch mob gets together and they're all doing their thing, what are they trying to achieve exactly?
Well, here's the thing about the live chat. People, what's really important is that the chat is very, very key to what's going on, to the temperature of the channel.
And that's why it's not the objective of whoever's running the channel. It's of the audience. I want of the actual
community. That's where you're wrong sometimes. Here's the thing about this. It is all scripted. And when I say scripted, they've discussed what they're going to discuss. They're going to bring up something who they might drag or what they're going to do. The trolls are in there. There are trolls in those channels, specifically there to say throw in certain things.
So I'm not going to lie, but Joey's hinted at this as well. But for just a simple country boy like me, that seems like a shit ton of effort when you've got a bunch of people in the chat to actually have that many people running around creating all of that.
You don't have to have a lot of people. Here's the thing, Baz. You don't have to have a lot of people to whip up a frenzy.
So technically,
yeah, but I want to know why people fall for the frenzy.
can I just say, technically, if we're going to say it like this, right now I should have my phone with a troll account making shit in the chat. Is that
absolutely
right?
Yeah.
That will never happen.
Yeah, you say, but this is what I'm trying to understand, right? Because we're talking about the internet. Like people are that far removed that they feel they can say whatever they like behind the keyboard without fear of reprisal, right?
Yep.
So that's a pretty comfortable environment that you're going to be in. So what that tells me is either all of these people that are doing it are fucking assholes, like they're real assholes, and the people that are falling for it, I'm sorry to say, at least have arsehole tendencies. Because why would they be falling for it? Because hang on, we're civilized human beings here, and some of the things that I've seen come out have been, are you fucking what, man? Well, what really tipped me over the edge was last time when I spoke to you, and there was some woman that had tried to pass Joe off as ringing her international and leaving 20 fucking, like, what the fuck?
Oh, exactly. And see, this is the thing. They make up stories. And listen, I've had it happen to me for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've had people that have come to this platform absolutely believing the perpetrator and the people that did this to me, and make up so many lies. And I hate using the word lies, but it's so much misinformation. You don't need a lot of people. At the time when they were going at me, there was about 30 people that were a group of people. Some of them were Australians and some of them were my friends and betrayed me. And then some of them were from the States. Now, their point is if they can create enough havoc, and that's what the media does. That's what's called controlled opposition.
Yeah.
Point is to have controlled opposition. So they do that everywhere. It is well known that controlled opposition is in all of our social medias. If they're going right, they're going to have somebody going left. And if they're going left, they're going to have somebody going right. So they want to create a discord of people not being rational in their thought process, not looking at it and just saying, you're a fucking troll, I don't really care. Or, as they're trolls, make fun of them.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess that brings me to, so I think I said it last time that I was talking with you. I've got a rule on the internet. I only 10% is as much as I'll give a fuck. That's it. 10%. So regardless of what happens, I mean, you can say whatever the hell you want about me. You don't know me. Nobody on here knows me. Nobody on this internet knows each other. And anybody that thinks that they do is just delusional. But people seem to treat each other like they know them, like they know what they've done, like they know what sort of a person that they are. And I do see it everywhere, but it's more prevalent here on YouTube. This is the only place I see it. I'm
it happens
to 140 odd different channels, and none of them have got this shit.
Well, see, it happens in Facebook and it happens on YouTube. I'm going to answer Miss Tea Leaf. Is it really what people do, troll themselves? Yeah, they absolutely do troll themselves. Now, you're going to hear that I'm a shithead. I know you'd think that I am, but I'll tell you right now, people troll themselves deliberately to make themselves look as victims. It's all part of the game. Once you know the game, and this is the problem, is that you might be friend, and here's the thing about you saying you might know me. Now, I befriended some people, and I thought that they could be my friends on Facebook. I never knew that there was going to be a problem with that. I didn't realize that by being friends with just 2 or 3 people that I sincerely thought were friends. They'd already infiltrated all my Facebook, gone through everything, because what they're looking for is they have been criminals. They have got shit in their life.
They're looking for vulnerable people.
and they're looking for vulnerable people.
Yeah,
And
I've known my fair share of criminals in my life, and they
Yeah.
all run the same MO. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They
Yep,
could be
they're
bank
all
robbers,
the
they could be
same.
pickpockets. They're all the same.
They're all the same. They're predatory, they're opportunistic, and they're looking for vulnerabilities and weaknesses, and they're pretty good at finding them. So before you know it, you recognize that there's something not feeling right. All of us start to be uncomfortable with something. We see it,
Mm.
we hear it, we're watching it, and we go, oh,
Mm.
this is not, I'm not really, but we let it go.
I have questions later on that cover that topic, but I'll move on to the next one,
Yeah,
which is
go.
a bit removed. So, why is murder crime seem to be the popular one? Like, so what I mean by that is I don't see anybody putting the same amount of passion or the same amount of time or the same amount of lynch mob or anything else like that into large scale white collar crime, insider trading,
Yeah,
wars, the Afghanistan war, all of those sorts of things that are on a mass scale, you know, instead of it just being,
war
and I'm not
crimes.
taking anything away from any situation whatsoever, but it always seems to be the kid next door or the bloke next door that gets all the attention.
Yeah.
But the big issues that people actually could do something about, because it's governments that do this,
Yes.
you know, a lot of it, people that they could do something about it, but they don't, you know, like what I do see in all of this with the people that end up getting caught in the whirlwind is that they have a lot of passion there, but they don't know where to aim it. And that's where these criminals come along, and that's where they find that they're vulnerable. Hey, this person's got a gun, but they've got no idea what to shoot. I'll tell them. And that's where they become. And there's shitloads of people out there like that. I know this. And, you know, they can't help it. It's just the world that we live in. It's how it's constructed. Not everybody's equal. Anybody that thinks that is, again, they're just hoodwinked. That's not how the world works.
No.
But I believe that that's where the vulnerability is. So I see a lot of passion there. I see a lot of wanting to do good, but no idea what they're getting caught up into and what ends up happening in the long run by these people that you're describing.
Well, see, you asked the question, why is murder? Well, and none of the others.
Yeah.
It is that. Well, the thing is, murder's easy.
It is.
Right?
I've also thought that it's because it's personal, because once there's a name attached, people get sort of personal with it. Whereas, you know, 30,000 people dying from a chemical attack, there's nothing tangible there for the normal
political.
person.
It's political. With that, you need to be cerebral with it. You need to be looking at, you know, it was the Afghanistan war and the Iraq war legal?
Oh,
well,
look,
it fucking wasn't. You know what I mean? And we could go down that.
Whole other rabbit hole to go down. We're
exactly.
Getting a bit
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But murder, or anything like that, the same thing is, if it bleeds, it leads. It's you know, it's something people can relate to. It's something people can feel a passion for. And the other thing is, we all think that we can save ourselves from a very similar situation.
Well, the ironic thing is the guy down the road getting stabbed in an ice fight.
Yeah,
that's not going to affect me, because that guy's going to get caught and he's going to go to jail and whatever else. But all the big issues, they are going to affect me.
Yeah, they are.
Either directly or indirectly, they are going to affect me. They're going to affect my children. They're going to affect my children's children. But yet, constantly I see, like, we've got a problem at the moment. Why is it that 20,000 people are allowed to the football, but 10,000 people can't go to a protest?
Exactly. And
I know the reason.
It's all about money.
It's a distraction, straight up. Down the pub, everyone's arguing about the football. They're not arguing about the real things. I'm not wanting to get political in this, but that's what it is. It goes right back to the Roman Colosseum. Not taking nothing away from sport, but it is kind of strange that 20,000 people can go to the football and 10,000 can go to the Melbourne Cup, but you can't have a protest.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Again, there's money attached to the two things that you said. There's nothing attached.
Yes.
And what people are, they don't. Here's what I think about, and here's a rabbit hole that we will go away from. But my thought about the whole COVID thing, right, is that it has been handled pretty poorly now. Up
Yeah.
at the beginning, it was handled poorly, and then we sort of got into our groove, and everybody followed suit. And Aussies are pretty good about, let's do right by our neighbours, let's get in and get this done, right? But as it's dragged along, now we have a situation where I sincerely believe one of the things that they're looking at as well is how long can we get our human beings, our citizens, to conform?
Yeah.
How long can
Oh, yeah.
we contain them before we lose control?
The art of taxation is to pluck the goose until it turns around and bites you.
That's right. And right now, they're at that point.
Yep.
Because we will do the right thing for each other, because that's what mateship has been about forever. But we are also at the point where we just go, hey, now you're fucking me over, mate. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, don't
Oh,
you
yeah, I know
stand
what
it.
you mean, and that's the whole purpose for me wanting to do this video tonight, because I need a little bit of faith back in humanity,
Yeah.
Because I want people to find this information, just to ask themselves these same questions that I'm reading out. I mean, some of these questions we've already answered, but I'm reading them anyway, because people that are going to get involved in this sort of thing and get involved in chats and get involved in issues and everything else, I think it would be really good if they ask themselves these questions and see what they come up with first, and then maybe later on reevaluate them. Because how does a vulnerable person know how does a vulnerable person know they're vulnerable until they're not vulnerable? Bit of a tongue twister, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Most vulnerable people don't realise they're vulnerable until they've already been fucked over.
Exactly. And that comes back to knowing who you are and feeling comfortable with yourself. And that means that, for me, I am very, very comfortable with being alone. And the reason I have done that is because I've been through a process of having to learn this.
I can understand that.
It's not easy, but to do that means that you have to get to know yourself, and you have to do the deep dive into reassessing the things that have triggered you over your past.
Yep.
And get why one person will react. So I am very skeptical about certain people that I will talk to, and this is an easy conversation because you're open, and this is an open book, right? So it's easy.
You all know Joey. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't lie. Same as her. Like, you've heard what she says about lies. Do you really think she's going to marry someone that's full of shit? Like,
no, but that's the same for me. But so many people have said that I'm so many things that I'm not, and yet the things that have happened to me personally on this chat, on this platform, and that have gone personally into my real life and affected my family has been real.
That's fucked up, and that brings me to another thing that goes along with like why people don't worry about the large scale stuff because of all this passion. I mean, you're going to put in the effort to go after someone's personal life.
It's crazy.
Why can't you put that effort towards something fucking useful?
Well, they don't, because that's their own mentality. Because I've always said this too, and somebody said this to me, because I've been called a trailblazer because I've done my own businesses. I'm always standing out the front. I don't want to have to be a leader, but sometimes I'm there because nobody else wants to do it. And so you've got to make sure that you get the troops safe.
I understand what you're saying way more than you know.
Yeah. And
I know exactly where you're coming from.
And so then other times I just sit back and say, no, somebody else is doing it, I'll do it. But if it's going pear-shaped, I'll ask a question, if you know what I mean. I don't need to do it. But the people that do that, it's all about power and dominance, and wanting to destroy somebody that has something that they don't have.
It is total carbon copy of schoolyard shit.
It is.
It is a dead set carbon copy of it. Everybody's been through it, so it just blows my mind how people don't recognise it, because it's exactly the same. It's no different.
But yet they can sit. Joey's been in a chat where they turn around and they call people obsessed.
Yep.
They call them jealous. They
Yep.
say that I'm better than you.
Uh-huh.
Anybody that sits there and says that needs to go and get their head read, because
Yep.
anybody that says that ends up being the problem. And then they say they're all bullies, and yet they're doing the most horrendous things in the chat and on the live.
Mhm.
And then then people turn around and be part of a gang and go and attack that person.
Given
So
way more than 10% of a fuck to it all. Every one of
yeah,
them. Look at the amount of
exactly.
effort that's getting put into it. Are you fucking serious? You know, and people want to sit around and whinge while we have lockdowns. Like,
To
really?
me, I've got no respect for them. I've always said those people are a waste of space, they're a waste of oxygen, and they need to be taken out. Sorry, that's the way I feel about it. I'm the gatekeeper. You come to the gate, you want to come in, I'll say no. You walk away, and as you walk away, I've got my Glock in my hand, and you're gone. Because
It's
I
all,
don't want you coming back to the
yep,
fence and creating problems, because
yep.
that's what you do. And
And
people will
that's,
say, why will there's always going to be somebody that's the gatekeeper. There's always going to be somebody to do that. If that has to be me, I'll take that up. No
yep.
problems.
And I can totally understand that, because you know what? It's your gate.
Mm-hmm.
You own it. You own that gate. And that'll come
And the
to a
people
question. Yep,
behind me, trust me to look
yep,
after their safety. I'm not
yep,
going to let somebody try
yep.
and hoodwink me and say, I'm sorry, but you've said it so many times before and you fucked up when you've come in. I don't trust you.
I understand exactly what you're saying. So
And
that brought me to this question, which I think
mm,
we've already just answered, but I'm going to read it up anyway. And it was, does the audience think / believe that these thought patterns and behavior patterns, because that's what they are, they're behavior patterns. You
mm,
see, to a bloke like me, a lot of the shit that's going on here, it doesn't really matter what the subject matter is. The tactics are the same.
yeah.
There's nothing new about it. It's just the content changes, but it's exactly the same sort of shit that goes on. But may they be applied to other areas of society? And if not, why? And I guess the if not why, and more to the people that get caught in the whirlwind, I'd like them to think of what I've just said. So, can your behavior pattern or thought pattern be put to another area of society where it might be a little bit more constructive and might help more of the greater good? And if not, why? It may save someone from getting caught up in a tornado that is made to look very, very personal, when in fact you got nothing to do with it. It's a cop case. Wait for
Well,
it to
see,
the conviction to come out, and then sit around at a book club and talk about it.
exactly. And the problem is that you've got people sitting there that will create such chaos and discord. And they're the people that will walk past somebody that needs to be helped. Like today, I saw a guy that was lying on the trolleys. It was laying down. This guy was lying there, and he had a cigarette in his hand. I walked past. I thought it was a kid at first, and then I went back, and I was going to say to him I was going to go and talk to him and say if he was all right, because I knew that he was probably coming down off something,
Yep.
and I wanted to make sure he was okay.
Yep.
And I know that the majority of people will just walk past because they don't want to
Yep.
get involved.
Yep.
They haven't got the guts to even ask somebody, are they
Mate,
okay?
my nan
Because
fell
there's,
over in the street and 6 people walked past her before someone helped her up. She's got artificial hips and knees.
yep,
So I
we
know
live
what
in
the
a society that we want to
people are like.
walk past it now, but we'll stick our nose into something else that is totally irrelevant.
Yeah, that's right. And people have to realise there's
Hi,
a saying:
Twiggy.
the standard you walk past is the standard that you accept, and bad shit happens.
That's
Good
exactly
people know.
right. And it's like the manic street preachers. If you tolerate this, then your children will be next, and
Yeah,
that's the fact.
oh for sure.
Well, I have
Whatever
said
you
this.
tolerate.
It becomes propagated. The next
Yep,
generation down sees that it's successful and thinks, "Fuck yeah, I want to do that."
yep. What were we going to say, Joey?
Well, I've been upset a little bit, but I sit
Yes.
back and I think, if I get like this, imagine what teenagers are like online. Like,
But
you know,
why do you think suicide since the inception of social media and
I hadn't actually put that together, but yeah,
well, it's well documented fact that
that's good. Good.
the suicide rate of youth has risen because of social media.
Oh, for sure.
Dysmorphia, all the negative things about a
Yeah.
human being is
Well, they
put
can't
on.
switch it off. That's the
They
problem.
can't.
At least back in the
Yeah.
day, you only had to cop it at school and you could go home. You know,
Yes.
you could go home. You had a red zone. You were in the red zone. You had a safe zone to go to. With social
Yeah.
media, the only
You don't
safe
have
zone you've
that.
got is when you sleep.
They've got phones in the classroom, so they could be sending you
That's it.
messages while they're in English.
Of course they could, Joe.
For
You're only
fuck's
just
sake.
clicking onto that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
But the next lot of questions I have pretty well
Yeah.
directly relate to everything we were just talking about. These next ones.
Yeah.
I want the people that are just starting to get involved in this, you know, like if you're wanting to get involved in this because you're one of these dodgy cunts that we've just talked about, you know, if that's a thing and that's what's going on, I've got no reason to say that it's not. Remember, I'm far removed from this. I'm just trying to understand what the hell's going on. And if somebody else has got a different opinion, well, there's comments down below. I'm happy to do another video later on. Doesn't bother me. But I've heard and I've seen that people feel like they don't have a voice on this
That's
platform,
true.
which to me is a free platform. And I want to know what holds people back from why do they feel like that they're being silenced on a free platform? I mean, I'm getting to talk all the shit I want right now.
That's because you've made the choice. Well, Joey has a channel, right?
Yeah.
And she has talked.
Yep.
But I was the same. I didn't. I had a my Space Monster account, but it wasn't a channel, and so people feel like they don't have a voice, and the only reason they don't have a voice is they choose not to speak. Because to speak means that you have to stand up and you have to be prepared to be that wall.
Yep.
Make the decision that you no longer, like that's what I'm doing now, is because I started my channel up to counteract the absolute abuse that I was getting.
Yep.
And that was the only reason, was that I needed to voice myself. I needed to speak.
Yep.
Yes.
I can understand that.
Yep.
So it is up to the individual. If they feel like they don't have a voice, then they need to speak to somebody to hear their voice, even if it's only like this right now, or just talking with people, even chatting. But it's going to come down to the person to understand that everybody has a voice, that they shouldn't be afraid, because that's the same as what happens in the domestic abuse situation, where you are silenced.
And that's what I was just about to say. Even if you're seen to be silenced in certain channels, it just means that you're probably, I'm not even going to say swaying. If you go in there and say something that's you think's true, they'll just silence you in that chat. Don't feel like you are silenced, because everyone does have a voice, because everyone does have a channel. That's what I was trying to get at. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's
You
here's
really
the
got
thing.
that right, bravo.
No, but that's right, Joey. Here's the thing about going into those kinds of areas. If you go in there thinking that you're going to make a difference, you're not, because they're going to silence you straight away, because that's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only power that they have.
That's right. Because this, at the end of the day, this is a free platform. Like all these questions are going to intertwine to other things, because there's a few disturbing things that I've seen, and I need people to realize the 10% rule that I have. I don't suggest that other people do it, but I can tell you how effective it is. If you walked into it only caring 10%, then anything that's thrown at you is only going to worry 10%. And what these people are after, they want the attention. That is one thing they're after. They want the attention, and the people give it to them.
Yeah,
they fall for it. They set the bait, people take it. Set the bait, people take it. Now, why would you take the bait from someone that you don't know. They don't know you either. So what is their whole argument based on? I mean, even now, I'm only showing the world what I want the world to see. That's it. And that goes for everybody else that's on here. They only show the world what they want the world to see. Nothing more, nothing less.
Absolutely. And the other thing with that is that why would we invest anything in rubbish?
Exactly.
Like,
it's one thing to have a discussion, but it's another thing to see the levels of anxiety that I've seen time and time again and again and again and again, and it just echoes off into eternity, really.
Yeah.
And it's just over and over and over. And it brings me into our next question that people can ask themselves, and this is a question that I want to know as well. Why do people seek validation from those that don't and sometimes actively demonstrate? And I've seen this from the shadows, when they don't care for your opinion. They're actively not caring for your opinion, but yet people seek validation from these people.
Because it's not just the creator, it's the chat as well.
But even the chat, you don't know the chat.
I know this, but I think sometimes people get hooked up in the chat more so than the creator themselves.
But it's the same principle. You don't know the chat.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
The chat doesn't know you.
Sorry, zip a lip.
The chat doesn't know you. You don't know the chat. You don't know the people that you're talking to. Nobody really knows each other.
Yeah. Well, see, I can answer that.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'll answer that question based on if I wasn't what happened to me, right? Is that I got such a shock when it happened and was happening, and I needed to step away and reassess, because I needed to ask myself that question. Why do I need validation from these people? Well, I don't. I don't need them to validate.
Where a lot of people get hung up.
Yeah. So it all comes back to your own self-worth. If you can validate yourself and you know that you are not the person that they're saying that you are, then that's good enough. Because the fact of the matter is, I have had the whole of these communities where I was absolutely welcomed in chats. I had a really good name. I'd helped a lot of people out. I went from that one day to the next day being an absolute leper, and it did throw me off. But I needed to do that myself. I needed to check myself, because the answer doesn't lie with anyone other than me.
That's right. Because everybody owns their behavior. Everyone has a choice.
Yes.
Everybody, and this is what baffles me so. Like I said, I'm subscribed to 140 odd different channels on YouTube, and not one of them has anything like this at all. This is the only place I've ever seen this going on outside of Reddit or 4chan. And you're really starting to scrape the barrel there.
Oh, well, it is like Reddit and 4chan.
It's ridiculous, but somewhere along the line it's got to stop. But more importantly, I see the good in it, and the good in it is the energy that I see that people are willing to put into this. I'm not talking about, if there's criminals, right? If there's criminals that are doing this, and this really is all organized, and I really want to stress, it's not that I don't believe you, all right? It's not about that at all. This was more for my information on what the hell's going on. You've given me an insight.
Yeah.
But again, this whole entire subject, I know dick about, apart from what Joe's told me. And she's told me a lot of the same things along the same lines. She's told me a lot of the same things. And it all seems plausible, but holy fuck, that's a lot of effort to put into something. And the poor people that get caught up in it, they've obviously got a lot of energy to burn, because I take it that they're not finding out that they're all that vulnerable until they're completely burned out of that energy and their sheer spirit has been sucked straight out of their arsehole.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I wrong? And no, you're not. No, not at all. And people will say, "Oh, it's not organized and everything." Oh, fucking don't be so stupid. The simplest solution is the answer. It is.
It certainly makes sense. It certainly makes sense. But there could be something else weird going on. I'm the type of bloke that likes to see all scenarios. For instance, when people are walking across a bridge, give it a while and everyone will start stepping in step. You know, with a mob mentality, give it a while and everyone will start yelling the same person. You know, everyone will start backing the same person. Everybody wants to be a winner. You know, especially when it comes to mob mentality.
Everybody wants to be first. This is the thing about this whole thing now. It's about I'm going to be first. It's like when you go back to true crime or any of this, I want to be first to get the information out, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
So
which
the responsibility is that means that you are reneging your responsibility as a responsible human being to ensure that the information that you give is as accurate as you knew it at the time.
Yes, that's right. Well, like I said, in this country, I don't know about America, but in this country, we've got legal privilege. You're not meant to be talking about court cases that are still open. It's just that simple. It's against the law. You know, like I'm surprised people don't go, you know, I've kind of warned the wife about it before as well. It's like, man, you're walking a tightrope here.
I've given it up.
You know, she's given it up now, she said. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, people are treading on very, very thin ice, talking about shit about people that they don't even know, you know, which is having life-changing effects on people. Like life-changing.
They do. They have life-changing effects. And I'll tell you this, and I don't know if this is in part of your questions, right? And this is an absolute fact because this has been said by a very big YouTuber, which is what we've been sort of, you know, gathering information.
As I said, I'm not here to bash anybody or anything else.
No. I'm not going to say anything. No. I'm just going to say this, right?
Yep.
One of the major reasons is with these platforms is they are trophy hunters.
Yeah.
And what do you think one of the biggest trophies that they could have?
It's the numbers, isn't it?
No.
If you're talking about the person, look, I've got an idea, but like I said, I'm not here to bash anyone.
No, it's not even talking about a person. I'm talking about, as any of these people, the biggest trophy that they can have is to have somebody suicide that they know.
That's fucked up, man.
And push them to suicide.
Oh my fucking god!
So I've known some sick people in my life.
Out the true crime community. That's bullshit.
But I haven't.
No, that's exactly what this is all about.
Look, I've known usually most criminals I know, and this is just my opinion. It's money. It's easy money. They're just looking to scam
easy money
out of people, and that's generally the first. If there's no money, not doing it.
Yep, but we're talking about very, very unstable situations.
Well, that's
I have that on video of this particular YouTuber who was asked the very same thing about why do they go after the subs? Why do they hurt people? What is the goal? What is the end result? The end result is suicide.
So they're just gone. So they're not.
That's a fact. And people will say, no, it's not, but it is.
Look, unfortunately, it wouldn't surprise me. I can't. They reckon statistically 1% of the population's a sociopath. And it would take a sociopath to do that.
Yep.
It would literally take a sociopath to do that. And anybody that's around them are just, you know, I guess they're comfortable enough in their own skin just to turn a blind eye. But
there are enough people in the world that 1%.
Oh, that's a lot.
We are involved with the 1%, if you know what I mean.
That is a lot. That is a lot. It's a big claim. It's a big claim.
I have it on video.
Again, not saying it's not. This isn't about.
We're not saying who it is, but what I'm saying to you is that is one of the questions that was asked because of the fact that they do go hellishly at subscribers or another channel's, you know. Another channel, what is the end result? And that person said to push them towards suicide.
Yeah, see, that's
and so then that means then that's a trophy, which means that's more things they can talk about and conjecture about, which brings in money.
Yeah, for sure. Like we've already established that the drama is the thing that sells. And I mean, I watched a TED talk on this, so I'm not going to claim the knowledge as being my own proverb, but it's literally hardwired into us. You walk out of a cave, you're back in being a Neanderthal, you walk out of a cave, and to your left, there's a beautiful sunset, and to your right, there's a big-ass grizzly bear. Which one are you going to notice? You're going to look at the bear. Why? Because the bear's going to kill you. The sunset's not going to kill you. So it's intrinsically wired into us that negative shit and negative emotions stick to us, whereas the good stuff generally bounces off, and we take that shit for granted.
Well, we think it's always going to be there, but the bear we've got to get away from.
Exactly. And it's the bear that you got to get away from. So everybody notices the negative shit, which I think attracts people to drama, because subconsciously they want to see what happens so they can prevent it happening to them. But in so facto, in this sort of case, they end up being part of the game, which is what you didn't want.
And believe you me, they will be fucked over at some point.
For sure, because that brings me to my next question, which is how in the hell, and this I really can't wrap my head around, how does somebody become so popular? Because, I mean, let's be honest, this platform is decided by the people. It don't matter who you are or what charisma you've got. If you've got no viewers and you've got no subs, you've got nothing.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what shit you're talking. If you don't have viewers and you don't have subs, so at the end of the day, I see this place as being what real life is not, or is too hard to be yet. I will say yet. And that is, it is run by the power of the people.
Oh, absolutely.
It is run by the power of the viewers. And I refuse to believe, I cannot believe that there are more people on here that are running the game and less people that are actually watching.
Oh,
I can't believe that. It's got to be the few that are controlling the many. It has to be.
It is. There is. And that's the case, is that they'll say that they're not friends with each other, but they are. So they'll have a drama, like, for instance, in regards to channels, they'll fight with each other, or they'll have a split up with their friendship. But that's all choreographed.
But how it can get that bad that it can be referred to as a cult. You know, like a cult to me is that's it. You've gone full brainwashed. You're living out in the sticks.
Well, they are brainwashed.
You know, like, but you're one click away. Like this, nobody's holding a gun to anybody's head to walk into this shit.
Okay, so look at it this way.
Yep.
Look at this way. I have shown all the evidence against something that has happened to me, right? All the evidence is there. And yet, and this can be the same with anyone. So you can show all the evidence is there, and a channel can get there and still go and do what they're doing to a person, abuse, whatever it is. And the chat are so whipped up and so brainwashed that they don't even see what they're doing is enabling, and they're actually contributing to the behavior.
Oh, for sure, because that's why they're there.
Yes,
when they're
are
told that, usually when people are told that hey, you're kind of part of the problem here, they don't like getting told that, and that's when they start lashing back and everything else. But I mean, hey, dude,
look, I helped a woman. I helped a woman that I thought was a friend of mine. She ended up screwing me over, but I ended up helping a woman who had been a main moderator for an extremely big UK channel. And she was his main mod, and she was also a Patreon contributor. Now, I had to spend hours every fucking day with her because she was literally going through withdrawal symptoms of having to deal. And I said, you have been in what I would regard either as a cult mentality, which is also abusive behavior.
Yeah, see, that's dangerous.
It is incredibly dangerous, but
in the old world, well, I'll call it the old world, the world before the internet, for something like this to happen, there was generally the threat of violence that went along with it, which is generally what kept someone pliable. You know, it was either something like violence or a drug lifestyle or something like that generally kept people pliable. But on the internet, there's no connection at all, and somebody can still do that. Like, what the hell? That's what I can't wrap my head around.
No, but see, what happens too is that these channels will absolutely they will connect with you on a personal level. They will send you messages. You might end up being in DMs with them. You might end up FaceTiming with them, right? And then they're telling you that they love you.
Yeah, I can see all of that. I can see all of that.
You know,
right?
Because I've not called you yet, have I?
No, you haven't. But I knew you would when you're ready, Joey. Listen.
I'm like you. I'm, I'm comfortable.
I know, but we all need to speak to somebody. I have my friends, and I have also a couple of my internet friends. Twiggy's one of them here, who has been with me for 2 years, and then the Muse, Becca, and we've been through it all. We know exactly what's going on.
Oh, I'm definitely not saying that a bond like that can't be achieved. I have exactly 2 friends that I talk to that I've met on the internet, and we've been like, I race virtual cars for a pastime. That's what I do, and we've been racing together for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good fun.
Should see his rig, Spacey.
Oh my God, which rig are we talking about?
Keep it, plain ladies. I know you're only human, but fucking hell. Let's not descend down that path.
Oh, good.
We're not here to talk about me rig.
I'll keep it up there. I know that's hilarious, isn't it? When you walked into it, guys, I'm always gonna take up a good banter.
Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll condition just as good as Joe. Trust me. But that there was that question there. How people? Well, I want people to actually think about what I just said. That someone becomes that popular that it can be referred to as a cult, and I need people to realize that it is you, the viewers, that give the people this power.
Exactly, and I've said this: the consumer is we as the consumer in anything in the world. We as a civilization, citizens of the world, we hold the power to make changes if we do the right thing, join together on the things that matter.
Yes, the things that will actually affect you. Like, I don't mean to be mean, but the neighbour getting killed down the road in an ice fight, or whatever the hell happened, or the cop that shot a bloke down the street, whatever it is, these. I'm not detracting anything from it, but if people could just harness that energy that they have, that they can do what they do and put it to something constructive, maybe humanity might crawl a little further, a little bit quicker, rather than what's happening now.
The problem with society is we end up becoming too complacent with our comfortable lifestyle.
Yep, that's right.
We are only being fed what they think we need to know. So if you look at the carbon emissions, everyone's talking about that, but nobody's talking about the biggest issue that we're having, which happens to be the ocean.
Yep.
And the fact is that the biggest contributor to all the plastic is the fishing industry. They are the biggest rapers, and the fact is that we are killing the ocean, which is absolutely integral to us surviving. Nobody's talking about that.
Every second breath you take, you can thank the ocean. That's how it works.
But nobody's talking about that. We're all talking about plastic bottles. We're all talking about plastic bags. No,
it's one hell of a rabbit hole to go down to. You know what nobody else talks about either? Where the hell money comes from. Do you know the amount of people that don't know where money comes from? It's alarming.
I've got a tree out the back.
What we all do is trade our time for money, and the amount of people that don't know how it come into existence in the first place is shocking. But again, shit, yeah. Do you know where it comes from?
I've got a tree in the backyard here.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It can work that way. I hope you're in the ACT there, Spacey.
Spacey's all around Australia.
Oh my God, you got to laugh at things too. Listen. We can take this seriously, but we also have to laugh.
Oh shit, yeah. Shit, yeah. Which brings me to my very, very last question. Geez, this all tied in brilliantly. I spent exactly about half an hour on these questions, So,
and I did not know what he was going to say. I was getting
my goodness, you were getting all nervous, were you, Joey?
I was.
It was funny as
because I'd never scheduled it live.
She's never organised anything.
And then he was going around the house whistling. It's like, will you stop whistling, Barry?
Okay, I'm going to ask Barry a question. Who is the whistler out of your mum and dad?
I don't know my dad.
There you go.
So mum can whistle.
It's a learnt thing from one of your parents. You
It's got to
learnt
be
it.
mum.
Yeah.
Oh,
If mum was a whistler, you learnt from mum and you became a whistler.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's got to be mum. Although I've never seen her whistle the way I whistle. She always whistles with 2 fingers. I can't do that shit.
No, but I mean, you when I say whistling's a specific thing. My husband is a whistler as well. His mum whistles, like she'll whistle music, whistle a song and stuff like that. And she'll be away whistling. And whistling is a very special thing to do. And so when you said he goes around whistling, then I'm thinking, okay, which one of his parents was the whistler? Which one, who whistled in the family?
Yeah, no.
Now you're going to think about that.
I didn't have a whistler, but I have been playing music since I was 5, so that might have something to do with it.
Maybe, but I guarantee you, somebody close to you
Probably
was a whistler, and it'll come to you.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah,
probably.
So what's the last question?
Last question was, why do people get so angry with other people they don't fucking know? The old 10% rule.
They're irrational. They want to control something that they can't control, and that generally has to do with themselves.
No, but I mean, even someone, well, Joey's not like that, but she gets very angry with people that she don't know, which is everybody on here. And when she sees red, well, no. I thought we already established the fact, Joe, that nobody on here truly knows anybody on here. Me and you know each other because we've been together for 17 years.
I'm just a little bit passionate, that's all.
Yeah, I know, but you're just a little bit too much passionate. Right? You've got to tone it down. Just a tad.
Stop calling people cunts, Joe.
Well, I don't know whether people in America are actually aware of this, but
it's a term of endearment.
It's generally a term of endearment. You know, if I don't like you, I'll call you mate. You know,
I call everyone mate on the internet.
Yeah, well, you're a fuckwit then, aren't you? And you say, I just called my wife that. That's how we use words like this over here. The Scottish get us. Get on board.
Irish do. The Irish do too.
That's right. That's exactly right. But that was the last question.
You done well.
Well, I hope this has given you some information.
We actually probably started a lot quicker than I thought we would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy answers, and it's not that difficult to answer the questions if you're going to speak to somebody that really does want to give you the answers.
And that's why I asked for you or one of the others or all three, is because I've seen what goes on. I have been standing over here, and I know that there's people on here of questionable intelligence, and there's people on here that I can see do have intelligence. And you're one of the people that I've seen that, yes, you do have intelligence.
Oh, you're making me blush right now.
Oh, well, look, I'll come clean. It's not like I didn't have my own answers for every one of these questions either, believe you me. But this wasn't about, I didn't want to come on here and start doing what everybody else does and dictating to everybody while they're a fuckhead. You know, like that's not how to get anybody to realize anything at all. What I did want to do is come on here with these questions that were designed for, and I wish there was more people in here. Maybe more people will see it. And please leave your comments down the bottom, because this is why I spoke every question. If you have an answer to that question, I want to see that answer. You know, if there's another angle to look at all of this, I want to see that angle. I want people to start thinking and start giving a little bit more fuck about yourself and a little bit less of a fuck about everybody else that you're coming into contact with. You throw stones at every dog that barks, you're not going to get anywhere.
No, you know? That's right.
Like, this is the internet, you know, and as far as we're in an age where information overtakes information, you literally have the entire world at your fingertips, and people spend their time doing this sort of shit, which is apparently causing suicides, which is fucked up, man.
Yeah,
it is.
You know,
it is. If you can go on and you can, if you say, look at statistics with suicide and social media, it'll give you all the information and you'll be astounded.
Oh, mate, I've always known about it with the kids, because you've already got what's called schoolyard syndrome, where you've got to go to the same goddamn place with the same goddamn people every day. It is a constant loop, and there's no way you're going to get out of it. So you end up in this syndrome where people are almost institutionalized. By the time school's over, they actually don't know what to do because they're not used to getting their head put in the toilet every day.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's like Lord of the Flies.
It's fucking sad. It's almost like seeing humans in their primal nature, which is virtually what it is. Like who gets all the girls? Oh, that's right, the big bloke that can fight everybody. Not the bloke over there with the Coke bottle glasses, although it might have changed a little bit these days. But back in my day, the kid with the Coke bottle glasses, all skinny and shit, that looked like a stiff breeze would blow him over. He didn't get nowhere. But the big. But
they always. Yeah, but see, here's the thing: those guys grow up, and those guys that have been the jocks end up being the fat ones. And
I know.
It all changes.
Doesn't always happen that way, but when I look back at it, the schoolyard is the perfect example of seeing humans in the wild, because that's when the hormones are raging the most, and all the stuff that's going on is happening the most. And you see these primal instincts come out, which, like, why is it that women are always attracted to the fuckwit? It makes you wonder, because the way that fuckwit controls himself within that schoolyard, no one can touch him. Oh, he must be able to provide and protect for me. It's a subconscious thing. That's what I believe anyway. That's my opinion. I'm hoping society has moved on from that, considering I haven't been to school in quite some time. But when I was at school, that is exactly how I see it, and see it now looking back on it. But
it's always primeval. It's alpha,
That's right. But the things that separate us from the fucking animals is that we grow out of that. So when I start seeing the same behavior amongst grown adults that on shit that matters, man, to themselves, and picking and choosing what people want to put their energy on just because they're getting their own kick out of it with drama or whatever it might be. I need people to think about what they're doing, because those same people, if they've watched this video, I know for a fact the next video that they walk into, they'll have asked themselves these questions. And if they continue to carry on the way that they do, what leg have they got to stand on exactly? And that's where the other people that are getting hoodwinked by this, they need to see this and then go, mate, you've got no leg to stand on. Who the fuck are you to tell me to go and string myself up?
Well, that's the thing. And here's the problem that you face, right? Is that who you have been at school, who you are in society. Like, some of us come out of school and we are products of our own environment.
Yep, certainly are.
And if we don't address the things ourselves, which a lot of us don't do because we go through life and we just seem to be chasing, we're waiting for the golden rainbow,
Change is hard, man.
Yeah,
people take the easy way. Your own human body takes the easy way. The way that it works will always take the easiest path. It won't take the hard path. You've got to make it do that. That's
exactly. Which means that you have to evaluate yourself, and you have to go through all the pain of, that's what PTSD is everybody probably has a form of PTSD.
Sure.
And the other thing is, we all carry luggage from our families, from our parents and their parents and their parents. So by the time we are born, we have generational luggage that we're carrying, that our parents my parents were, they're in their 80s, so they're 50s born, right? So they were born, and mind you, my mum's from Mount Isa, so that's a hard place to come from, and my dad's from Toowoomba, and they were out in the sticks, they were out in the mining towns. So we're talking about luggage that is being carried, and unless we decide to address them when we ask ourselves, why the fuck is this happening to me again? When you ask yourself that question more than 5 times, the answer lies where you've got to go and get help.
Yep.
Because the reason is that something you or myself is doing that places me in a situation where I choose to gravitate towards certain things that are not healthy for me.
Yep. And we all do it. I smoke cigarettes. Fuck, I think someone was having a go at Joe the other day for smoking cigarettes. get over it. You know,
No,
like
it wasn't me personally. It's just I can't believe the people, if they have a problem with, say, alcohol, if someone's having a drink, it's like it's the wrong thing. It's like, no, not everyone has a fucking problem.
Yeah, not everyone's got a problem.
And why is it that the alcohol stores are everywhere? Because everyone's allowed to drink it. It's just some people have a problem. So
listen, that argument for me, my sister was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and you know that she died, and I've told my story, right?
Yeah.
Now, if somebody has a problem, of course, I may try and be in a situation where sometimes I might not drink or whatever. However, it is not my responsibility. If I want to take a drink because I want to have a glass of wine, that doesn't make me an alcoholic.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no, it doesn't.
No.
But these people have a tendency to say that, oh, take another drink, why don't you? And I know my sister used to do that to me as well. Hey, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Right? Don't put your burden on me. Don't make me feel guilty of your problem. It's not my problem. It's your problem.
Exactly right.
I will always put a mirror up to that person and say, I think you need to talk to yourself. This has got nothing to do with me. Don't question me about having a cigarette or drinking a glass of wine when that's your issue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But I was also agreeing with you that many people gravitate towards things that aren't exactly good for them. I mean, let's be honest. It clearly says on a can of energy drink, do not mix with alcohol. But yet we have Jaeger bombs. We're not a species that's meant to survive. This is what the human race does.
Well, if you take it biblically, right, and I'm not a Christian, but it's a great saying, is that if God exists, right, he gave us free will.
Yeah.
We have the ability to make the choices. If we make a choice that is going to affect us in a poor way, we made that choice.
And we're the only fucking creatures on earth that'll build themselves a cage.
That's right. And it all will come back to us. Do we end up in positions where we might be at the wrong place at the wrong time? Yes.
Yep.
But generally, with everything that goes on with our relationships, if we end up in an abusive relationship, we might not understand that at the time, but after a while, you start to recognize it, you get out of it. There's no reason to stay there. If you want to survive, you get out. It's hard, but you get out.
Yeah.
And it isn't easy for everybody, but then again, humans are strong, we are resilient, we have the ability to make choices. Then make sure you make the right choice. Not everyone we don't all make the right choices. We're going to make mistakes, but the reason why, and it's not a mistake, it's actually an error in judgment. And if we make an error in judgment, we need to be able to learn from it. And if we don't, then there is a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Look, I've understood all of these problems and, experienced these problems, so to speak. Again, I'm not one to air me dirty laundry out here. But back in the day, like I said, there was some sort of physical contact that was involved with all of this. But when it starts spreading to the internet where a person is just a click away, you shouldn't have to sum up anywhere near the courage that you need to be able to leave your abusive partner or whatever the case may be. It shouldn't be anywhere near nowhere near the amount of effort, or it's one fucking click. See you later. You want to talk shit?
I think the trouble is, Baz, is that it has become such a it is the internet or the telephone or whatever it is. It really releases serotonin. We are getting some form. We are getting the instant gratification from it.
Oh, definitely. I'll get the connection.
And that's the problem. So that when we've got that, then of course we're going to have the downer as well when we meet these people.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is it's the ones that are copping the downer the most. It's like they're 70% down and 30% up to keep them on the hook.
Yeah.
That's a complete and absolutely lopsided fucking ratio that people don't have to. Like I said, in my YouTube experience, I don't see none of this crap. I don't really get involved in live streams either, but even the ones that I have watched, again, they don't have any of this shit at
No.
all.
No.
I don't see it. And that's in well over 100 channels across a variety of different, topics, if you will. Topics
And
interests.
I watch a lot of different channels as well, and some channels I don't even watch that don't have live streams, that are huge channels, and couple of big guys in Australia. There's one guy over in Western Australia who's he's called Youngbloods, and he was a Sparky, and he was also a, what do you call them, spearfisher, and he loved the ocean. Bit ADHD, he fully admits it, but thank God he is, because he wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. And he started parlaying his lifestyle in the water and on the beach and everything, to the point where he now, I think he's pretty much employed by the Western Australian government, and he lives up near Broome, has an amazing lifestyle, place, cars. He gets sponsorship. He has probably, I don't know if he has, I don't know how many subscribers he has now, but like, he parlayed that into an amazing lifestyle. But that's his lifestyle. That's the way he lives, and I think people can do that in a really positive way. But it takes dedication, and I think if you're going to be a channel like that, then there's two ways you go. You either, if you're going to be doing the live streaming, it has to be very controlled. You have to have a business plan all written out and know exactly what you're doing to stop all this stuff happening. Or you're like that you watch those channels that just do uploads of what they do, whether it's the driving of the cars, or, like I said, this bloke
whatever
over
it
in
may
Western
be.
Australia. So, there's some really amazing channels out there that do really great stuff.
Oh, bloody oath. A lot of them I want to talk about. I want to do more of this sort of thing if people like what they're hearing and they like how it's delivered. Because this is the shit I do. I drink it. I know things. I'll steal it off. God. That's what it is. But I've got Game of Thrones.
Oh.
It's what the dwarf says. You've never seen it.
No,
He goes, I drink and I know things.
Hang on a second. You chat to yourselves and to the chat. I'm just going to go and get myself a drink of wine. Hang on.
Alrighty.
Well, that's all right. Well, I'm going to go and have a cigarette, and Joey can talk to you, because this is the longest she's ever shut up for.
Oh, stop it, Barry.
It's amazing. Normally she's all over this. And Irvin, I agree. Back in the day, that is exactly how it is. But would you agree that it gets to a point where you realise that fighting doesn't solve anything? The winner, they were just a better fighter. If you're fighting over the colour of the sky, one bloke says it's blue, the other one says it's green, and the bloke that says it's green, he won. Does that mean it's green? No. He was still wrong. He just beat your ass in a fight for telling him he was wrong.
So how are you feeling, Joey, about everything now?
Yeah, I want to do more of this, Irvin. I want to do more of this.
I know. He's told me so much stuff, and I don't listen to him most of the time, do I, Barry?
Well, you see, this is why Joey didn't get involved, folks, because I've been through this with Joey so many times. And, I needed to put it into this environment to have her peers here and have other people here that are, into this sort of thing, and get their take on it as well. So that it becomes more stronger, I suppose, a stronger message.
Yeah, and I think, and the thing is, by doing it together, you can do something together, and the thing about doing it too is that sometimes if you're going live every day, like I've gone live 2 days in a row now, but to do it is exhausting. And I believe that you should not go live. Your live should never really be over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I don't have the time. It was only just to get through these questions. I honestly thought it was going to be longer than that, but that's all good. But I still work a job. Like I could only do this tonight. I could only just do this tonight because for the next week I'm pretty well going to be unavailable unless I do something like this, and then my phone rings and I've got to fuck off to work.
Yeah,
So,
but it's exhausting for one. You want to make sure that when you're talking, if you're going to have somebody up or if you're talking to the chat, that you've got something relevant to have a conversation about.
that's
And the other thing is about you want to be making your audience hungry, which means that by going once a week and you've got good topics means that they'll come back for more.
Yeah, well, you just got to get them involved.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want. That's what I want out of this. I don't like the fact that when I go down the pub and let's say I start talking politics, I'm not going to start talking politics right now, but if I go down the pub and start talking politics, I reckon about 10 minutes, there'll be a blue.
I was just going to say, we won't be talking politics, Baz.
Well, straight up. Well, there you go. But I'm going to find someone to talk politics with because, God damn, can I talk
I will talk politics, but not tonight.
No, not tonight. But not enough people are focusing on the big issues. And I want to know how in the fuck did we get here and what sort of a world are we leaving for my kid? What sort of a world is your kids going to get? Do you have kids at all? You don't have to answer that.
No, I have twin boys they're 28.
Well, there you go. There you go.
They're great boys. They live over in Norway. So, and here's the other thing. I've been really blessed. I've been very, very lucky that I've lived in many places in Australia because my parents, moved around because of my dad's job. And also I am an explorer. I love to travel. I've traveled when I was younger, and then I've lived in the States for a year and done a ski season in Aspen. So I've seen some pretty funny things there. I have lived in Europe and I've lived in Norway for 24 years. So for me, I really want to have good conversation. I understand what it's like to go to other countries and feel like you are not wanted.
Yep.
Even though you're white.
I can understand that. Yep.
You've never been out of Australia, Barry?
No, I haven't been out of Australia, but that's not to say I've never felt like I've never been fucking wanted.
He gets that every time he comes home.
Well, fuck one. What does it matter that you're not wanted for? I don't want you to fucking talk. How do you feel?
He comes home and he knows he's not wanted.
Your opinion's not wanted at this time, Joe. I didn't ask for your fucking opinion.
The only thing I want out of you tonight is Iraq. And if you can't give me Iraq, just bugger off.
Yeah, that's right. Know your place, make me a sandwich.
You've had dinner.
All right, well, look.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope that this has been okay for you. And
no, it has been.
I don't have all the answers, and other people are going to have different opinions to me, and they're it's fine.
No, there's no way I could get on here and just talk shit to a chat. There's no way I could do that. And to do this, like I said, I needed someone that I knew had some enough intelligence to be able to have a decent conversation without it descending into something fucking stupid.
Not Joey.
Yeah, well, there's no point having the discussion with you because I could literally just put a camera in the corner and just run the house like Big Brother, and then you want drama? You'll see some fucking drama.
Hey, listen, excuse me, can it just dawned on me. Is Big Brother starting next week?
God, I hope not.
Oh,
and Caitlyn Jenner's.
Yes.
Oh Christ!
Sure
I just might watch that just to see what's going to happen because we got Caitlyn. We got Caitlyn ex Bruce coming into an Aussie environment.
Yeah. I love Caitlyn, aka Bruce.
I'll kick that off again. The reason I want to have these discussions is how the fuck did we get here?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
happened? Or just what happened? And Irvin, as far as I'm concerned, the chat can do whatever the hell it wants to do. As far as I'm concerned, the chat is everybody having a talk amongst themselves.
But this
and
chat's been fine, haven't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I haven't seen anything bad in this chat, but
even the chat, nothing's bad.
Yeah,
has happened.
I just said that, Joe. Nothing bad is.
As in, I'm not on my phone. Going to troll in the chat.
Yeah, well, that's just weird.
I know.
When people do that, that's just weird. But if people did do that, to me, the chat over here in the sidebar, that's everybody having a talk amongst themselves. You know, we're having a conversation over here.
Oh, they ask
you
questions.
guys, yeah, you ask questions and it gets involved in the chat. But in most places that I see lives going on, there's a lot of conversations within conversations that I see happening in live chats. So I don't know. I don't really see, you know, the need for moderators and so on and so forth, because it's, you know, if people don't like it, then don't watch. No, nobody is holding anybody's gun to a head or anything else like that to sit here and watch this channel. This was just something that I wanted to get out there. Now that I know it's out there, and I hope that people see it, I hope that people watch this just for the simple fact so that they can think about their own behaviors and how they're behaving on this internet of ours, because the way that things are going, it's not looking good. And I'm talking for humanity as a whole. It's not looking good. And I don't want it to not look good. So
well, I think that as it's cyclic, right? So just like every great civilization, everything has a way of destroying itself and rebuilding. And this will happen as well.
Yeah.
And the same thing, the same thing will happen here. It'll become to the point where people will be like, it's enough, right? And people will start taking a position and standing and being accountable. Meg Healy's asking me a question. Can she talk to me? What do you want to come up on the panel?
Go for it.
Or you want to ask something in the chat?
It's up to Spacey.
I don't know what Meg's wanting to know. So I think that it's always about the cycle of change, and I'm one of these people that will be accountable and will stand up and be in the front line. I just will. And does that mean I'm going to be shot down first? Possibly.
I'm exactly the same. I live by the creed that bad shit happens when good people stand by and do nothing. And I can't stand there and watch an old woman falling down on the road. You know,
I agree.
I can't just walk past that shit. I can't. You know, I'll tell you now, I've got no interest in any of this true crime, but the behavior that's going on and the way that people are acting towards one another is going on. Yeah,
it's crazy.
That shit pisses me off. You know,
I think that, you know, I've tried to be. I mean, Irvin is saying he's sorry that he judged me, and that's fine, Irvin. It's okay. I don't hold people. There are some people I will that have known me. They just don't. They don't get a pass. That's just the way it is, especially if they've known me personally and they have abused our friendship. So, but we've all prejudged people. And I've done the same thing.
I think that's what we just covered. The problem with people treating other people like they know them. You know, it wouldn't matter whether we'd been talking for 6 months, Spacey. You're still only going to know what the hell I've let you know.
Exactly. You know, and like I said, there's two people that I've been chatting with for over 2 years. Meg wants a link that I've known for 2 years here, and I'm basically. Pardon?
Do you want me to drop the link?
Yeah, I don't know what she wants to ask, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind. But I talk to them nearly every day, and I know so much about them. I've never met them, but it's
still a risk.
It's pardon?
It's still a risk. By I've never met them or anything else like that. There's still an element. Like, I'm just saying, for me personally, it's still not going to equal me mate that I've known since high school, or it's not even going to equal a mate that I've got at work, because that's real, that's tangible. I can see him,
But I've seen these people too. We've been on video.
Life.
Yeah. So, not yet. But what I'm saying to you is that we've done the best we can do in the situation that we have right now, and they are the only two people I know that I can trust, because their behavior over this course has been everything that we would need it to be with each other. And so, but other people, they've completely blown it, and that's okay. I don't need it.
Yeah, and that's your choice again. It's your gate.
Yeah.
Everybody on here's got to realise they've got their own gate, they've got their own yard, and it's all controlled with a fucking mouse, man. It's all controlled with the swipe of a thumb or whatever. You don't like what you're seeing, walk away. Don't get involved. Don't get to the point where someone feels like they've got to go and neck up because someone that they don't even know is all of a sudden talking shit. And what the hell would they know?
Hey, Meg.
Hey. Who am I talking to? Jesus.
Can talk.
Okay.
Who's that?
I don't think we've been on panel before, have we, Meg?
No, Chase, I haven't. Otherwise, I'd call you a fucking cunt, That's the thing that I do. No, I don't. I just fucking did that to Natasha that night because you know what? I was talking to Amanda, right? And she didn't have any reason to come up on that panel. I was talking to Amanda. Natasha had no reason to come up on that panel that night. And I just went, you fucking cunt. Because I'm Australian, and that's what you say. And you just go, you fucking cunt. You just don't fucking deal with fucking shit like that. Fuck off, cunt, You fucking awful person. She's a fucking terrible person, mate.
This stream, Meg, we've really tried not to mention names and stuff.
I don't want it to track from the message.
I was going to talk to you on Spacey, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Meg.
Her about something.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because I haven't been on YouTube for very long. I've only been on YouTube for 2 years or something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just a youngin'. But all I do is stick up for the underdog, in which I think that all Australians do anyway. I just listen to, while I'm vacuuming and I'm mowing the lawn or whatever, and I just see people like Mrs. What happened today? That was terrible today. What was her name? Joey.
No names.
Joey. No. What was her name today?
Whose name?
Mrs. Somebody. The lady, and she's not really okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and that's why this whole stream, Barry has been speaking in a way that we haven't
mentioned anybody's name.
You know what, Joey?
Yeah.
We're fucking Australian, and we will just stick up for the underdogs. Fuck you, cunt. And whatever I said to what?
Sometimes people can't handle us the Aussie way, you know what I mean? And I think that's where Barry came in and
good on you, you should meet some of my boyfriends, mate. I think that they would get along with you quite fine.
So we didn't Honestly, Barry was the one who requested this live. I didn't even know what he was going to say. So, but
Baz is great. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you having Baz.
There's more
I think
Bazes
Baz
out
is
there, Meg.
fucking gorgeous.
There's more Bazes out there, darling.
Yeah,
and there's definitely more Wazzers too.
Was it?
as long as there's not many Robbies out there, my God, I'm gonna slap the Robbie. The next Robbie I see, I'm gonna slap the cunt. Oh, jeez.
God.
You're not allowed to say that? No.
No, not Mel.
As soon as someone goes, my name is Robbie. Can you imagine a bloke saying that? My name is Robbie. I would just go, oh my God, just fucking leave.
Okay.
Go away.
Meg, Spicy.
Yep.
Help me along here.
So, Meg,
I'm trying.
I know. But if you want to make another name up and like call it a Waz or something, or
What are you doing? Oh, you know what? I actually look, sweetheart. I'm just gonna get some ice out of the freezer. And you've just got to deal with it. But can I ask you about something? Because I really want to. Because I'm into this YouTube shit as well, right?
Yeah.
And there's some people that I just love. One of them is Helen Schaefer. Second one is Outback Outlaw.
Yeah.
And you just went hard for him, like badly, the other week.
Barry's back.
Yeah,
I actually won't speak about that here because this
is not the right place.
It's not here. It's okay, Baz. Let me just handle this, okay?
You're right.
Because I'm loving on him, but I'm loving on you as well. And I don't know, I look on your and it's like Space Monster, and I want to talk to you, but I feel that I'm being like inappropriate if I talk to you. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm easy to talk to. I'm very easy to talk to.
Yeah, I know, but you were so fucking nasty to him. It's like, man, don't be nasty, bro. Bro's okay.
Listen, I mean, I'm not going to discuss it here, and because
why not? Why not? You fucking discuss it everywhere else, Spacey.
No,
come on, mate.
I've only discussed it.
Well, you've obviously got nothing to fucking do with it because you don't know. Because
Meg, hang on a second. Yeah. I've known them very well for several years.
And do you not think that I've known them for longer than you, or do you not think that I've known at least do you know that I not have known Nathan for fucking years? And it annoys me, man, when you fucking drag him, man.
Meg, there is.
I don't want you to drag him. Don't drag him, mate. Yeah, let's talk about it.
I'm not going to discuss it here, and I appreciate you asking me.
Why you discuss it? Because you discuss it on every live that you have. Why don't you discuss it?
But that's on my channel, Meg.
Okay. I've just had to mute you, Meg. I'm sorry. The big reason is, and if you go back, and I'm not sure what time you came into the live or anything, and I really need you to hear this. This is the type of stuff that I was talking about. I can see that you've got a lot of passion there, but you're directing it like a shotgun shell, and it's spreading places that it doesn't belong. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about with Spacey at all. But this is the type of thing that I was trying to point out that's wrong with the whole place. I didn't want to mention any names or talk about any people that's within the community. I certainly didn't want to direct anything, and I'm not directing anything in this video. I just wanted people to think. I mean, like, come on, man. I've got to point it out, even going after someone that's named Robbie. I mean, one of my best mates is named Robbie. There's nothing wrong with the name. you shouldn't be judging somebody by a name. But hey, that's just my opinion, and I'll leave it at that. But I'm sorry, darling, but I've had to mute you because, yeah, you're bringing things into it that just don't belong here. But I mean, hey, I'm happy to unmute you if you can keep it clean and keep other people's names out of it. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to have you up here on the panel. I hope that's okay with you. All right, I'm about to unmute you now. All right, please, I hope you've just listened to what I've said.
You're cool, man. You're cool.
Cool, thanks, man. Thanks, because that's...
And Meg,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Baz. Meg, you're cool too, and I'm cool with you. And if you ever want to send me an email and want to have a chat,
Mate, I'll never send you an email. You know that. You know who I am. You know I'm never going to send you an email.
I don't know you, Meg.
I know. No one knows me. I've been around the tubes for 3-4 years. You know what? No one has my email.
I thought you said 2.
No,
But anyway,
3.
listen,
that's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just...
You know who has my email? Helen Schaefer.
I don't know Helen Schaefer.
That's the only person.
Anyway, my point was that I'm a guest and I want to be respectful and do what...
What were we arguing about anyway?
We weren't. You and I, we weren't arguing about anything. We were just... You asked me a question.
What were we talking about? Sorry, what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about... Baz asked me some questions earlier on about him trying to get...
Good on you, Baz.
Asking some questions about the true crime community and why the true crime community is as mad as it is.
Tell me about it.
So we were just talking about that, and we were keeping names out of it, and that's what we were doing. And I'm only giving him a point of view, which is mine. And he was hoping Mel is here, and maybe she'll come up and she'll give her point of view.
Hell, mate! I just fucking I fucking got on her channel like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I was like driving to work, and yeah, it just cracked. Mel's fine, but you know what, Mel? Whatever your name is, what is it? Spacey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, oh no, so you don't like my brother, so that means that I can't like you. And then I'm looking at Mel, and I'm just cracking up, right, at Mel's fucking videos. I just think Mel is fucking great, man.
She's hilarious. She is. And listen, we can all really like each other. We don't need to be involved in everything. And
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Meg, but you know, I kind of spelled it out there before, and I gave you the chance. But again, even things like, you know, you don't like someone, so that means I can't like you, and you really need to go back and watch from the start of this live, and you'll see exactly where I'm coming from. Like, you really do, and I don't want this sort of stuff being detracted. I mean, hey, you want to have a conversation with Spacey in another area, in another time, or whatever, in a different environment,
we can set up a live.
That can be done. That can be done. But just for this time, I'm sorry. I don't think you're quite with the conversation. You might want to go back and watch the conversation and then get involved in the conversation that we're having, if that's okay. I hope I didn't offend you, but I had to end it there, mate. Sorry.
I kind of get you, Meg, because I'm a bit passionate too, darling. I'll have to say bye. I don't want to. I ain't doing that. Barry.
Hi, Mel.
I didn't want to do it.
There's no need to laugh. It's not something that we should laugh at, but
I'm laughing at Mel. I'm laughing at Mel's face.
Oh, okay, right.
Look at the face. I'm looking at that going, how can I take that seriously?
I'm sorry. That was not. I'm not laughing. I was laughing at something else.
Listen. I'm sorry about that too.
No, and Joey didn't hit the button. I pressed a finger. But
look, she's passionate. You can
She
hear
is.
it in her
I
tone.
know what that's like. I'm
She is,
passionate too.
and I hope she goes back, and I hope she watches from the start and gets what I mean about that. I can see the passion that is within people.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's like a shotgun shell. It goes everywhere. Whereas, like if people could take that energy that they have and then point it in a useful direction, more like a sniper bullet, might actually get
She
something
doesn't have a
done in the
channel,
world.
does she?
I've
I
got
have
no
I have
idea.
no idea. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
And I was quite I knew that it was going to go down that road, and I was prepared to because I am prepared to speak to anybody. Mel, we've known each other for several years now.
Yep.
And you and I have spoken on the telephone.
Yep.
We've been in and out of each other's lives. We know each other. We know where we've been. We know what's going on. And we don't have to talk to each other every day or every month
No.
or whatever
I
to
don't
know
talk, I
that
don't, I
we're
don't talk to
we're
anyone every
safe.
day.
No, but we know that we're safe.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, in that way. And
I know I could ring up if I had a
Yes.
problem or something and say, Spacey, I need help.
yeah,
vice
and which
versa, I
I've
hope.
done. I've done the same to you when I've known that I've rung Mel when I thought that she needed to talk, and vice versa. And that's what people do. And I think that's what's really important, Basil. What we were talking about is that we have. I mean, with the world the way it is now, we don't necessarily have to pay for phone calls anymore.
No, God no.
And it's important that we communicate on, and that's why I said I'm the kind of person that rings up and say, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need to talk, or like, am I out of bounds here?" And the person could say, "No, fuck off."
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fine.
since giving Spacey my phone number, I've moved towns. I've changed my name. I've cleared my bank accounts. And basically got plastic surgery on my face.
And you look, and that's what you look like now, Mel.
Mel, sorry, but it's a rookie mistake. That's why I've already said I don't know you, and I'm not going to treat you like someone that I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. But I went.
Oh, that's great. I'm a lovable person. You're only human.
I went through the gamut with Bazza tonight, and he asked all the questions. So he might ask you a few questions as well, Mel.
Oh, Baz, I'd be honoured.
Well, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot, but we'd be going over the questions all again, but not the whole lot. I'll just pick a few of them.
Pick a few curlers for Lynette.
Yeah,
a few curlers. Oh Jesus, it's hard because they were all in order.
Oh, good Lord!
Have you got?
No, they were.
I want to see flashcards.
That wasn't just asked in a random order, eh?
Yeah.
As I said, I did put a tiny bit of thought into this.
Right, of course you did. You're an intelligent man.
If it's gone 1 to 6, you kind of can go to 4 or 6 or
it went.
3.
It actually went 1 to 10. We went through 10 questions, basically, not 6.
Hold on.
There was 10.
I fix my eyebrows. All right.
There was 10.
She's ready. Here she goes. Look, she's got a.
We need the Eddie music.
Oh, here we go.
I'll throw this one. I'll throw a number 7.
Here we go. Ooh, look at the look.
Why do you think people seek validation from those that don't and sometimes actively demonstrate care for your opinion? You've got no ties to these people.
No.
I can tell you're not one of them motherfuckers. I can tell.
I used to care what people thought. But I figured out a long time ago that it doesn't matter.
No,
I
doesn't.
don't care. Yeah. I've told people not to send me screenshots or links to videos. If anyone talks about me, I don't give a flying fuck. They can go for their lives.
Hang on,
I'm
Mel.
not watching.
You're lying.
You know what?
There.
That looks like a true 10% rule. In fact, I reckon with that attitude, it'd be lucky to be fucking 6%.
You know, Mel, you do want those. You do want those Willy photographs sent to you, but they have to be spectacular before you get that screenshot.
Of course, that's totally different. That's mild porn. Spacey, I'm always up for a little bit of a dick pic, but
just like, you know how you women like to take photos that don't show off all your chins. All right. Well, blokes are the same, and they take photos that make their dick look a lot bigger than what it is. I'm telling you now.
I have to stop you right
a
there.
photograph.
How
I can
did
actually
they do
prove.
that?
I can actually prove that 2 days ago I sent 2 chin pics to my friend.
And was that a bum? Was that a bum click?
Exhibit A.
Oh,
We got the proof and all. Look at this
Exhibit
shit.
B.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm gonna redo my statement. You don't give a fuck at all. I love it. That's
No.
awesome. It's not even
No.
10%. It's you say, and this is what I'm talking about, people. This is the fucking internet. You know, like this is the very first time I've ever met you, Mel. I've heard a lot, but I've never met you. I've seen that parody video. Yeah, it was funny. Not gonna lie. Fucking oath. You know, I'm not gonna lie. It was funny. But yeah, a lot of talent there. But again, I'm also
oh, good Lord. You know,
oh, it was.
Western
was great.
Australia is not going to be able to survive with the head that she's going to walk around with those chins, you know.
It's going to be really big. Look, no, in all seriousness, though, Bezza, I went through it all when I first started my channel. I went through
Yes, you
so much shit.
Yep.
I do, and don't get me wrong, I do care what people think about me, but not to the point where if I don't know you from a bar, so it's like someone said to me once, a very wise person, Morgan, said, "Why do you care about what these people think when you're never going to meet them? You don't want their constructive criticism. Why would you take their insults? You
That's
know,
right.
if I don't, yeah, she worded it a lot better. I'm my brain.
It's simple. If you wouldn't go to someone for their advice, then why the fuck would you accept their criticism?
That one.
Somewhere along the lines of that.
Yeah, and it took a long time. And it took a long time for me to realize that people will go at you for anything because they feel like shit. Because
the same reason that they always do. Well, the people that deliberately do that are generally doing it to take the focus off themselves, because if other people see them standing over you, then that gives them some sort of an elevated station. And
that's right. And
people have to realize it's the people that elevate them. They don't elevate themselves. They need other people to elevate them for them. And they don't even realize that they're doing it, which is the whole purpose of this video today.
Hey, I elevate myself all the time. That's why I'm called Spacey. So, and
Spacey, boom, boom.
But
But yeah, like I got to the when you know, like one of my lowest points on here was a real turning point for me, and that was when someone took a memorial video for a person who was like a sister to me on here. We really got close, and she passed away, and they took bits of that video and made it into something absolutely disgusting, and people wouldn't even know because I don't talk about it on my channel. I don't give them, you know, the airtime. They don't deserve it. But I was like, if people can go that low, then I need to change my way of thinking. And that doesn't mean I change me, because I think I'm one of, you know, there's not a lot of people come on here and you first meet them and talk to them and they seem like really nice people. And then after a few months, you see them in side chats bagging the crap out of everyone because that's what they feel like they need to do to fit in.
Yeah.
But I don't. I like to try and pride myself. You know, there's a couple on here that I'll bag the crap out of because, like, honestly, it's a free for all. They're asking for it. But, you know, not like in a personal sort of. I don't like hurting anyone, whether I like them or not.
Well, everyone's got lines. I mean, where does one taking the piss at someone else's expense, no matter what it is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
it's taking the piss at someone else's expense. It doesn't matter what the reason is, or you know, or how light or how heavy it is, or whatever. Especially at this day and age, when you know the slightest hair out of place can get someone that butthurt that it's all of a sudden all over the news, fucking everywhere. In this day and age, so where do you draw the line?
Look, I even felt bad after doing that parody because I've never done a parody of someone that I haven't been asked to do it by the person, or like part of me sort of, it was hilarious though. Like,
you know what? That's probably why I come across as so talented, because that means it truly did come from your heart, Mel. No one asked you to do it. You've done that off your own back. So you've truly done that out of your own free will, and that's probably why I came across as so talented.
It wasn't even like, it was total improv.
Yeah.
We didn't even really watch. I haven't hardly watched these people, but man, that's not,
It's exactly the same as playing a musical instrument. Irvin's heard me before, and I can tell you, Irvin, all that shit that I play, that is complete improv, the whole lot of it. I don't have sheet music sitting in front of me. That's not some other person's music. That's just shit that comes out of my head. So that it's exactly the same sort of thing. And that improv, I know what it's like to improv, and that is what comes from your heart. It's your head connected to your heart as one, which then connects to the rest of your body, and then shit just happens.
Since I was a kid, I've loved imitating people. And I truly, honestly, whether I like a person or not, she has some of the most fascinating, hilarious facial movements I've seen on a person. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, which is really, it also confused the crap out of me. But, it is what it's done now. But, like I said, I'd like to think that I haven't changed. The only thing that I've changed is stop caring what idiots think.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Not to sound cheesy, but I stole this off Facebook, and I've explained this to Joey more than a few times when it comes to all of this sort of stuff, because it certainly rings true. So I'm not claiming credit for this or anything, but it's the story of the tiger and the donkey. And so one day the donkey's bugging the living shit out of this tiger, saying the sky's green, the sky's green, the sky's green. And the tiger's like, shut the fuck up, mate. It's blue. All right. And they're having this big ass argument, right? It's blue. It's blue. No, it's not. It's green. It's green. It's green. So the tigers thought, fuck this. We're going to see the lion. So they go to see the lion. And the tiger tells him, this fucking ass donkey over here keeps bugging me to the shit house, telling me that the sky is green. It's obviously not green. It's fucking blue. Can you set this bloke straight? So the lion decreed that the donkey could go and call the sky whatever color he liked. And the tiger's like, what the fuck? And the tiger was told to shut the fuck up for 3 days. Right? That's what the lion told him to do. And the tiger's like, why am I the one getting punished and he can run around calling the sky green? Mate, you're a fucking tiger. Why are you wasting your time arguing with a jackass? You are a tiger. Why are you wasting your time arguing with someone that is obviously that deluded? You can't get through to him once that the sky is blue and not green, and you chose to use all that time of yours trying to convince this person that you're right and they're wrong. So for stooping to that level, 3 days for you.
Yeah, and I heard you say something the other day too about how people's beliefs are their beliefs. Like, if someone's growing up believing that such and such is how such and such
if they believe it's true, then that's
their belief.
There's a difference between truth and fact. There's a massive difference between truth and fact. Truth is just a matter of perspective. Fact is fact. It's written in stone. You can't change that. Fact is fact. But the amount of butthurt that goes on about who's true and who's not, and what's true and what's not, in a place where everything can be took from a grain of salt. For all you guys know, I could be reading clean off a script. For all you guys know, I could be the neighbour. I might not even be your husband.
Pretty sure he is, Tracy. For all reading out Woman's Day. I've seen this. I've seen this episode in Woman's Day.
I could be a Russian spy that can talk Australian really, really well.
Oh, really?
I doubt it.
Well.
I like the Russian.
Listen,
I could be anything.
Listen to you.
Therefore, don't take me any more seriously than fucking 10%, for fuck's sake. Because I'm only putting 10% into it. That's it.
We won't. And even we're not even going to give you fucking 5%.
Good.
Yeah. And the thing
this one's not giving me none because she don't give a fuck. I can see it. They're stone cold eyes, man. And it's cold as fuck.
Remember, you were told that the moment you walked into the house, she didn't care about you. Remember, there was. It's like
I love Bazza. What the hell?
I know.
Ask Joey. I love him.
Exactly. What's not to like?
I know.
Yeah.
He's a very intelligent man.
Oh well, thank you.
Yes.
And that's because he doesn't spend as much time on YouTube. See,
I
you
spend
lose
a lot of
brain
time on
cells.
YouTube. I just don't spend a lot of time in shit circles.
Here's from me, but not all of it.
Poor old Joey. Joey's going to go
Don't
to
worry.
bed tonight. She's going to be lying in bed saying, "Why the fuck did you say that? And how come you said this?"
She
What do
won't.
you
She
mean
was
by
all
that?
worried. She was all worried before this happened, and I'm like, just calm the fuck
Yeah,
down.
because I've never scheduled
okay.
live.
It's okay.
Joey, you just need to stop thinking so much. I know it's easier said than done, but you need to stop thinking so much. It's just,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Joey's biggest
And
problem is that she has to learn to
Mel
look
and
before
I
she
learned a long time ago that we don't bring we do not bring any part of our brain to YouTube. We leave it sitting and being looked after, where it's not going to become moldy and green by entering
Mine's
into
in
this
this box
arena.
with my earbuds right now.
Yep.
See? Stone cold. Told you.
But you know the thing
Stone
also,
fucking
and
cold.
I said this in the comments section, Joey. It's almost like a rite of passage to go through this shit, and you almost have to go through it
You
because
do.
then it cements into your brain. Right, not everyone is like they are in real life. They are not going to react the same.
Mhm.
Context is always taken. You know,
Yep.
things are always taken out of context. Nothing is the same on here as it is with people you would meet in real life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I guess I'm lucky in that respect that, again, I'm not going into it because I don't air me shit on fucking things like this, but I've experienced all the things that you ladies have talked about, but in real life. I've already lived that in real life. So then I come across to this fucking child's playground, really.
Yeah.
It's just school all over again. And I see it going on with grown adults, and I think to myself, fuck me. Like, am I 14 again? Are we all 14 again? What the hell's going on here?
And it can be really hard for...
Wow.
Sorry.
No, you're right. No,
Go,
I
Mel.
was finishing on a wow.
It can be really hard for someone in your position because you're not in this community or, you know, this sort of environment on here.
No, I'm just a
to
metre and a half over there
understand-
listening to her.
But like the emotions Joey has been having are so very real to her. And I'm not saying they're not real, but they are very real to her. And, you know, you either leave or you stick around and, you know, you learn your lesson and sort of.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
don't know.
I said it to her. I've been telling her to be the tiger for fucking months.
Be the tiger,
months.
all right. It's hard to be the tiger.
But
No one wants to be the ass. Look,
no,
Well-
you don't. No,
I don't.
nobody wants to be the ass, but everyone's got a choice.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody has that power within themselves. I mean, because like I said, this is a goddamn playground. There's no threats of violence. You're not chained by financial insecurity. You don't have any of the real social domestic issues like if we were back in the 90s, you know, and this wasn't around and that sort of behavior was actually going on. Well, to me, that's the real shit. You know, that's where real weapons come out. That's where real hurt happens. That's where real hospital visits happen. You know, whereas on here, people are getting that fucking butthurt and getting that passionate, like getting way more passionate than what I've seen people in real life situations. And it's like, man, this has got to fucking stop. Like I can't stand by and watch it happen without throwing me 2 cents in it and going, right, I fucking tried.
I think, though, for a lot of people on here, and given the situation with the Rona and all that stuff, this is all some people have.
Yeah, I know. I realise
And
that it's exploded since that shit's happened.
Yeah, and on the other flip side of that is taking up for people can, you know, it usually never goes right because there is so much behind the scenes made
for
up
sure.
bullshit.
Yeah.
For views, subs, and money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't even, you know, like I have a channel, but I'm still a subscriber. Like we don't know half the crap that goes on, and my eyes have been opened.
Very,
You know,
on the wrong page of the
there are a lot of agendas, you know.
I honestly thought about all of that before I wrote these questions out, so that it didn't.
Fuck the questions. Whoops.
Yeah, all the questions. I only gave you one. There was 10 of them.
Well,
And she handled that one beautifully.
That was just one. But
Well,
all the
I'm a bit
questions
of a
that I
talker,
wrote
sorry.
out were specifically designed. You see, I see all of this other stuff happening as being an issue of a problem. And all the questions that I wrote out were directed at the problem and not any of the issues. So therefore, it didn't really bring what anybody else is doing into it and how other people react to it. It's more as a collective. I mean, there's one answer here. What are people's understanding of a collective? And do they realize how powerful that collective can be? Because this platform is literally run on a bunch of collectives. A group of fucking people with a like-minded that don't shoot off like shotguns, but they actually shoot in one direction. All right. I'll give a little bit of another background about me. At my place of work, I'm a union rep. So
you know,
right. I'm a union rep.
Why are you wearing a shirt? Why did you tell him on the tube?
For some reason, she's embarrassed of a union, but fuck, mate, if you got a boss, you need a union.
You do, of course you do, but you would see it all. You would see it all.
Shit, I do. I can't disclose where I work or what I do, but one day I can, and then you'll see even more. But at the end of the day, one of the delegates' issues that you have when you're a union rep is you've got a yard full of whinging bitches, and they're all fighting each other. And your job is to find out what the fuck they're fighting about, bring them together, and then point them in the direction that actually matters, so they get something done.
Yeah.
That's literally your job as a delegate, is to speak for them, but to speak in a way that's coherent so that bosses can actually understand. And what I see going on in this community is a whole bunch of people yelling amongst each other, and no one's shooting actual bullets. They're all shooting shotgun shells.
Yeah.
You know, and it's human nature to do that. I mean, to go down a slight rabbit hole, take the capital rights. All right. Irvin could weigh in on this one. You're in America, aren't you, Irvin?
He's in Hawaii.
You're in Hawaii. That's pretty close. That's one of the states. That'll do. When they
You'd have to swim.
it's fucking close to me, mate. I'm going to talk shit about the Capitol building.
Oh, go for it, buddy. I've got my 2 bits worth.
But this is a classic example on mob mentality. So they stormed the Capitol building, and then what?
Yeah. Nobody knew. How was it? They were out, the rage that they had and what they were doing. And then they get in there and they're like walking around taking photos.
It was literally like a fucking dog chasing a parked car. Right? They bought the car and now don't know what the fuck to do with it.
And
they had all of that power. They had enough power to storm the goddamn Capitol building. I mean, oh my God. Never seen nothing like it before in modern history. And then when they finally do it, they find the best thing they can do is stand there looking like a fucking moose holding a flag. You know, like that was it.
And out of it too, though, but the problem with that, though, too, Bazza, is, I mean, I have my opinion on the whole thing, but out of it, the chaos, people lost their lives through something. For sure.
I want to stress this right now. I am not poking fun by any. That was a serious goddamn situation.
It was a serious coup.
Right? But it is also a very great example where the people themselves, they had an issue. They had a fucking problem. They were angry. They were pissed off, right? Yep. And it's their country. And I'm not one to speak about it. We've got our own problems here in Australia. Let me fucking tell you, all right? And we're a completely different kettle of fish to America. But they were pissed off. And what made me sad is that when they got to that part of the goal, it all fell apart. It's like, you know, I watched footage. Some guys, they looked like they were set to go and abduct someone. Another person was saying clearly on camera that they were going to go and shoot someone. Others, they just wanted to take photos with statues. Nothing was unified about it. And that's what happens with mob mentality when it's not pointed in a general direction and it's not organized and it's not made to think about what they're doing. Irvin wants to come up to answer this.
There are some cases on here, though, where they do, like, go through with things and they call CPS and people's jobs and you know, and stuff like that. So it can get pretty nasty.
Fucking oath. In real life, it can get real nasty. Joe, can you sort out a link for Irvin? He said he wanted to come up and talk about that, to answer that question.
Sorry.
You got one job.
I didn't see that, dude.
I told you, one job. Watch the chat.
Yeah, Joey, I think you've lost your channel to your husband now. Just make a new one.
Just for now. Just for now.
I don't know.
Hang on a second.
I'm no
Baza,
good
Zig
at
Heil, baby.
No. I ain't no goddamn Nazi. I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Oh
No.
no!
We're about to get banned off the tubes.
Oh no. No. The Holocaust happened, people. It really did.
I've been to some of the sites. Like I said, when I lived in Norway, they in year 10, they and this happens in a lot of the European countries, especially in Scandinavia, where they do something called the Hvite Busstur, which is the white bus trip.
Yep.
Did I meet him?
Right, and that used to be in the days where people couldn't afford to take the aircrafts. Now everyone gets on a plane and they drive down. So we went down, and you spend 7 days where you go to specific places. So we went to Warsaw, and we went to specific areas there, and then we went over to Berlin, which is just the most. I mean, I've been to many cities, but Berlin is just the most amazing city because
That's cool, man.
You can
something I've
feel.
always wanted to do. Follow the World War II trail. I'm a very big war buff.
Yep. So we went there, and you can literally, because I was big World War II buff as well, and the whole thing with Hitler and that there is a classic example of what we see on YouTube. How that began and how it raised itself to the extent that it did, and what the people did in that. So we went. That there in itself is a very good example as what we see going on YouTube.
Well,
if you're talking about mob mentality, that
Mm.
the Nazis came together, and what they were able to do with the final solution is astounding. So, and for me going there, it was. I mean, we went to Auschwitz and Birkenheim, and I tell you what, guys, you go in there, you still can smell it. There is nothing like it. We're talking like 70, 80 years down the track now, or not. You walk in there, you can feel it, you can still smell it. It's just, there's nothing like it. Hi, Evan.
Hey, Spacey. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but you made a great point, though. Hey, Mel. Hey, Joey and Bazzy.
Nice to
Evan,
meet
I'd
you,
just
Evan.
like to give a shout out to your arm muscles there.
Thank you.
We've got to teach Urban that it's Baza, not Bazzy.
Bazza?
Baza. Yes, that's
yeah. Put an A at the end, but hey, you're the first one in the world to ever call me that, so kudos.
My bad, Bazza. All right, I gotta get used to that. But you made a great point, though.
But she's obviously got a fucking problem, and I'm not going to argue with her. So
I had to show him that this is how Aussies call Barry. It's a Bazza, not a Bazzy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a Bazza.
Yeah, well, like if your name's Warren, we call you Wazza.
Yep. Dazza, Darren.
Darren, Dazza, yeah.
Weird, but okay.
Yeah, we are weird.
You think that's weird? If you got red hair, we call you Bluey.
What?
Oh, Ranger.
Oh, Jesus. Well, okay, anyway, Bazzy made a good point with the Capitol riots. Now what? They did what they did, but now what?
Yeah. I did. Like I said, I don't want to, step on any fucking thing political or anything, especially in somebody else's country. We've got our own shit show over here. Let me tell you. But
no, definitely not.
It was an example of a big group of people that were very, very pissed off, but couldn't get themselves organized to get anything done.
Right, and this kind of relates to YouTube, all because one guy said that, right?
Yep.
There you go. Same thing that happened there, but that's more in the physical sense. But in YouTube, it's also happening here. Everyone is pretending. Everyone's pretending to share the same emotions as one person. I don't share the same hate as that one person has towards anybody, and I'm not gonna go into Capitol rights and I'm not gonna go to a Capitol and destroy it, thinking that's gonna solve everything. Now what?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Trump's fault?
No.
Didn't he tell him to go and do it?
Oh God! If he told
that's
you,
what I'm saying. It's one person who said that, and a few who felt that what he said is important and did what they did. Now I believe from that whole crowd, I don't think everybody shared that same emotion. Yet when people were doing it, they felt compelled to do it also. The
That's
same thing
right.
like Nazis.
It grows like a snowball.
Yep,
You know,
exactly.
It's just like back at school. That's it. This guy's fighting this guy over at the Oval. All of a sudden, fucking 10 kids
Sorry,
turn into
thing
100.
cut out for a bit.
You know, that's what happens. 10 kids turn into 100 at a fight.
And there's so many people online who just want to belong to something because they've never belonged anywhere during their schooling days. They've never, they've always felt like an outcast or something. And you see those people who jump onto situations like that because they want to feel involved.
That's right. And that's why I wanted to do this video and ask these questions and put these questions out there for people to ask themselves that you want to belong to something and you got all this energy to fucking throw at something. You want to get mad at something that matters. Get mad at something that's actually going to affect you or directly or indirectly affect you. You know, if you're going to get fucking pissed off.
Oh, I thought she farted.
Amen.
I thought she farted.
You're going to get pissed off. Why the fuck are you wasting your goddamn time, on someone like me? I'm sure I'm going to piss someone off in this video. And if they want to have a discussion about it, no dramas. But you're only going to get 10% out of me. That's it.
Comment section.
That's it. That's all you'll get.
I just gave you 50% because I actually stood up when I could have been sitting down. So
fuck it hell.
For real though, that you made great points, and I'm too bad I came in here about an hour late, but you should come on more often. And you do make a lot of sense, and especially from a man's point of view, because I share the same point of views. Like all these people are like angry over one person's beef, and some of them has more anger than that person. They actually take the time to get out of their own way to do something for that person when they have no skin in the game. Yet they do it.
From that, the hypocrisy is what kills me on here.
Oh,
that's one thing I have to bite my lip about.
Seen plenty of it. Like that's why I made it a rule at the start of the video. This is not a bashing session. I did, trust me, I know all the other crap that's going on. I know all, I've heard enough of it.
But in YouTube, everything is a bashing thing. Now we can be talking about peanuts. Someone will take offense to it. Unfortunately, that's how it works in YouTube. There's nothing you can say or do that will be taking offense to someone, and you can't control that.
Irvin, I want Joe's channel to stay alive. Don't make me talk about pronouns.
Well, too late. You already caused some ruckus by just talking about facts right here. That's just the nature of YouTube.
Pronouns at work.
Look, you've got a melting pot of all these different people and different personalities and different mental situations going on, and medicated, unmedicated, unsupervised.
It's not the environment that you can take 100% seriously or put 100% seriousness into it. You can't. It won't work. It will never, ever, ever work. I mean, fuck, man. I'm talking to a motherfucker in Hawaii. Like, really? Let's go back 20 years. Did we ever fucking think that was going to happen? No way. You wanted to do something like this, you better go get a job at a radio station.
Yeah. I mean, the internet made it an easier way to reach out to people and tell someone's opinion, regardless if it's real or not, fact or fiction. It's just, it made it easier for, not to be rude, but like a lunatic to say what they want, and 20 people agree. One people who don't agree, yet they follow the crowd. It's just that easy.
That's exactly right. And people have to realize that, hey, if that 200 people crowd over there wants to go and follow that lunatic, go for your life. There's billions of people on this planet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Billions. Like, honestly, this community that goes on here, and like I said, I don't see it anywhere else on YouTube, but it's a drop in the ocean.
No, exactly. I mean, once I log off. I still got to go to work. I still got things to do, and I won't I won't take the time of day to go out of my way just to get on YouTube.
No, fuck no. I mean, I know for some people that it's their business. It's their income source, but people have to be aware that if they're getting involved in this sort of drama stuff and they're getting on the bandwagon, they're only making somebody else money. And from what I hear, some of that money that's getting made is a lot more than I make, and I actually contribute to fucking society.
And making that money off of someone's pain and suffering, and you joining in, you should reflect
It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. I mean, we've got a rule in this country. I don't know about in America, but you're actually not allowed to make proceeds of crime here.
Oh wow.
Chappelle Corby can't write a book.
Chappelle Corby can't write a fucking book.
Oh, did she?
But everyone, we got Joey and Baz, Joey and Bazza, Evan, Space Monster. Show everyone.
Getting dragged down. How you going there, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
How you going, mate?
Give them your pooey smile. All right, fuck off.
Lovely.
Way better than mine.
Time, let me show you my butt.
No, don't show me your butt. I don't need to see your butt.
It's sore though.
I don't know. What have you been doing?
Well, listen, guys, I'm going to go. I just want to say thank you very much for tonight.
Sorry, Spacey.
No, that's fine. I've already been here, so you guys can keep going. And but I just want to say thank you. It's been a real pleasure. It's been a real good, fun discussion.
It's been good. It's turned out the way that I think it would. And I really hope that people throughout this community drop in, see this video, watch it. I know it's a long motherfucker, but some of it's funny, some of it's not.
Times to it.
But yeah.
I hope they watch it. What's really great about it too, Bazaar. That's the way you do it, Irvin. You go Bazaar.
I'll try.
And is that we have 5 different personalities on here. 5 people.
Whoa! I've got 5 of my own, Spacey. So
oh, sorry. We've got 10 different personalities
you're a fucking
here. and everybody has pretty different viewpoints. However, we have a lot of collective agreements on things.
Yes.
And our experiences in probably a lot of ways, Bazza, you said that you've experienced a lot, and I dare to say that Traces of Nuts is here. My God, we got to bring her up. What I was going to say is that all of us have probably had lots of things happen through our lives, some more than others.
For sure. I don't put myself above or below.
No. What
I'm just a normal bloke.
No, but what I'm saying is that we can have this conversation and we can agree to disagree, and we went through a little bit of a bump earlier on, and we handled that, and it was handled really well. And we all need to respect and be collectively thinking in the same direction, and appreciate the fact that we have a great platform to do this.
Yeah.
To do exactly this.
For real.
For sure. Like you go back to the 90s, man, this shit ain't happening.
Like, can you imagine now you have to go to a radio station and actually talk this nonsense?
Yeah.
Like, will a radio station pick you up and spew the things you spew back in the day?
God,
obviously not.
God, no. Like I've already said to Joe, on an actual radio station, if you try to talk about something that's before the courts, they will shut you the fuck up straight away. Because
exactly,
you can't do that on a public channel. You just can't. It corrupts the process. It corrupts the whole fucking lot. And it's just wrong. And most of what I see on here is exactly that. You know, on the so-called true crime community, which is not really true because no one's been convicted. It's just a suspect. Yeah, something's happened, but it's ruining people's lives. And then people's opinions that they have on that, it just turns around into this big circle, which, if people go back and watch through the start of the video, there's there's even thoughts here of it all being by design, which is, man, that's
pretty much.
That's a special kind of cunt. Like honestly, that's what that is. That is a dead set special kind of fucking cunt to do that. Like, bravo.
Speaking of Bazza, speaking of special kind of cunt, Tori, I just put the StreamYards in the chat. Get up here.
Evan, I don't know if you understand this, but the word cunt here is like the word the or if, or we can say it and it's fine.
I can tell my entire life story with fucking 10 words. Honestly, 10 words. None of you
I mean,
Americans
us dudes here say
everyone
cunt
in
a lot, but
Australia
we just can't say it to a woman. It would be offensive.
we say it because if I call Tory, which I just said, speaking of cunts, Tory, get yourself up here, you cunt. That
She's a
means
good
I'm
cunt.
sort of saying, get yourself up here, lovey.
Not 90%,
Right.
90% of the time, it's a term of endearment here, Irvin. It
Oh,
still can be
obviously,
used
there's a
as
reason why you
derogatory
guys say
term,
it a
but
lot. It obviously means, it's not offensive.
no.
Yeah.
No, it
No.
is in certain circles because,
It will.
the political correctness is slowly creeping into our way of life. But you can fight that cunt. I'm telling you now.
But
Yeah,
that'd be the way that how black people in America, they call themselves nigger, and then there's the word nigger, right? It's similar to that.
Can't say that, Spacey.
What?
Say again? Say the word again. I'm sorry, I didn't catch.
It's okay, Evan.
Huh?
It's all good, darling.
Well, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I don't take words offensively.
Oh,
I mean, I've done time. Words don't bother me.
Oh, obviously, I obviously just
It was the look on Barry's
I just put a big. Hang on a second. I just need to take the shoes out of my mouth right now.
I know what she's trying to say. I know what she's trying to say. I just know that everyone will be.
I'll remind you, like worldwide platform.
Hang on, the rocket ship just lodged in my mouth.
It's
You just know.
on the fucking global,
You just know that shit gets clipped. It's gonna get clipped, and it'll get used against you.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, I don't care.
And that's true. And earlier, Bazzy, you were saying how you want people in the comments to like leave you and have a discussion. Unfortunately, it won't be a discussion. I'm sorry. This is how it works on YouTube. There's no way you can ask someone for a nice discussion and it'll happen.
Bro,
It'll be
I'm
a
sure
shouting match.
But the type of bloke that I am is me saying leave something in the comments, is me giving a good gesture or taking a swing, however you want to put it.
That's the thing.
I don't ever go in.
Comments on my comment section.
I don't ever go into discussions that I don't think that I can have. And I don't.
That's true. Like you can always see when someone's gonna be unreasonable, and I just end it right there, and then they get more mad that I don't feed into it.
Oh, for sure. And that's why, like, if you watch the whole video, all of my questions have been designed so that I'm not derogatory towards anybody.
And that's why we had to mute Meg, and I feel really bad for that. But this was like Larry. I was about to call you like Barry String.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's your fucking voice.
as I
I came in late and figured it out in 2 seconds.
You're cool, mate. You're cool, mate.
That I always seem to cause a bit of chaos when I'm in live. So, but on that note, this person who's put their big shoes in their mouth and is probably going to be clipped up tomorrow about standing at a gate with my colt.
Yep. As it was stated earlier, she's got her own gate. That was her gate.
I love that.
There's going to be, but I doubt if
the
they'll.
horse bolted out that fucking gate.
Well, it's all too late anyway. We're all grouped in regardless of what we say. We're already they to most people, so we're already grouped in. I mean,
we've got our own support group here.
What are you talking about?
Mel and Space Monster.
There's 5 of her.
Like, look, Mel and Space Monster has their own thing, yet they will be grouped in as they. It's already been happening.
I hate that.
Look, like I've said to Joe, the reason why people use they is for exactly the same reasons, but for a more sinister cause. That the way that I've wanted to conduct this video is so that it doesn't single any one person out. I'm not talking about a single person. I'm talking about a group behavior. And I'm
right. No, and I got that. I got that with just a few minutes I've been here.
Same thing. They drop they. No. See, I'm doing it now. I'm saying they. All right. But whoever wants to drop they, it's bait. Because people are instantly going to assume that they're talking about them, and then they're going to come back and snap back. And I know too well because I've got the bitch.
Yep. Right? Yep. It's going to be taken as you were attacking them. It was you were singling someone out.
That's right. And that person can now take the high road because, hey, I didn't mention your name.
Well, that's right.
It doesn't matter.
I wasn't
It doesn't matter.
I just said, hey, you've just assumed who the fuck I was talking about, buddy. You know,
well,
like
listen.
it's common
All
tactic.
I'm going to say is I'm not part of they. I'm part of the wee gang. So
The wee gang.
Yeah.
Oh.
What is this wee wee game? I want in.
Well,
You sure
I
that's
want to
not
be in the wee wee game.
we're going to be part of the wee gang.
The wee gang.
That sounds like something I want to be a part of. Sign me up.
Are there dues in the wee wee game?
We've got wee-wees.
Oh god. All right, you guys. I am gonna hop down back in chat, but thanks for having me here.
Gang.
I'm going to go. This wee-wee's go.
You've got a long way from that gate, baby.
There's the original Camel
We're now
Toe.
going to be part of the wee gangs.
Nice. All right, you guys. I'm gonna hop back down, but Bazzy, thanks for having me, you guys. Spacey,
No
take care.
dramas,
Mel.
part anytime.
See ya. This golden shower territory.
I had to laugh though when I said the wee gang, and then Irvin goes, "Oh, I want to be in there too," and it's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna wee."
Oh God, we brought out the weirdos.
Oh dear.
Oh my god. Oh, on that wee.
Yeah.
I'm
She's
going,
just
guys.
dumped us in it, and she's leaving. Now
Pretty
we've got to deal
much.
with Larry.
Oh dear.
You know what? So I wanted a conversation with someone that wouldn't descend it down, and you drop that bomb and fuck off, eh?
I had to laugh though when Irvin goes, "I want to be part of the wee gang." I bet you do.
Look, Urban, I don't think there's Jews in the wee game, but I'd say it's a golden opportunity.
Oh my god. Oh dear.
Bring your own lube.
We are the wee gang, okay?
Oh, no.
Do we call it
And we-
or
No, we're gonna call it wee-wees. Like you
Can
call
I
your wee-wee.
unsubscribe?
Yeah, you must be talking about Joey. You can't be talking to me.
Oh God,
Oh
Larry
my
Jones
God.
come in midstream.
Oh good lord. That was
Well,
hilarious.
you know you're a prime candidate for a pregnancy test right there.
He just look, he's just
You're
realised
nearly
what he
there,
meant.
mate. A golem shell
Oh,
is not really quite it. But...
He's finally worked out what wee.
Oh.
Oh my god! But you wanted to be part of the wee game.
How unlucky you got to be to only just come to that realisation and get fucked over by autocorrect.
They might
Oh god!
Well, it was nice knowing you, Evan. Thanks for coming.
Well, this little wee-wee's going, okay? So, yeah, thanks very much, guys. It's been fun.
Oh, no worries. Thank you. We'll do it again.
See you,
Yeah,
Space.
see you later. Bye, guys.
So,
Oh,
it's a little bit more intimate now, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I could probably go for another half hour, 40 minutes tops.
No, you're not.
That's
Jesus.
up to you.
That's like 10 times. Oh, never mind.
It's only because I've got to get up for work in the morning.
3 hours is good. Who's crazy Dingo? I haven't seen him.
What's wrong with you, Joe? You can't just cut and run now the Melmel's here to talk to you.
Oh, it's not that. It's like...
So
I'm
what,
good.
3 hours? Is there a fucking time limit on... I thought we've just established that this channel and this platform is whatever you want it to be.
It can be.
It could be 3 hours. It could be 5 hours.
Nah.
Fuck, I've seen some dumb cunts out there do 36 hours. They're on the gear.
I can barely do an hour before my brain's like just mush.
Yeah.
I can talk shit for days.
Yes,
Honestly.
He can.
Yeah, but when you do it like even, my life's so boring. No one wants to hear it.
Who said?
No, it's true. It's definitely true.
All
I've got is grandkid stories. So
she's got a stalker. Mel has a stalker. She really
I've
does.
got a few.
Yes.
Dave is the top stalker and he owns it. And yeah.
Isn't it Lawrence? Isn't he your stalker too?
Oh, Lawrence is the kangaroo stalker, but there's also Walter and Stuart, the crows. Stuart's the baby. And do you know what they do?
You're not in Tasmania, are you?
No, in West Australia.
Fuck no, no. Oh, Tory's from. Never mind.
I'm sorry, you were just talking about animal stalkers, man. I'm just thinking Tassie.
Yeah, nah. There's no sheep out here. Anyway, these crows, Stuart and Walter, if I have a sleep during the day, they get on my tin roof and go like this to make it sound like someone's at my fucking front door. So I open the carport so they can steal the cat biscuits.
Played by the birds.
They own me.
Played by the birds.
Yeah, every time. I mean, unless I hear package delivery, and then it's the crazy little Asian lady who delivers my parcels.
Thank fuck you didn't say kangaroo.
No. Lawrence does not have a pouch, obviously, because he's a dude.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go feed my little.
Oh,
Sorry.
thank you, Crazy Dingo. Welcome, mate. I haven't seen. Have you seen Crazy Dingo around the tubes?
I think I have.
Cool name, anyway. He's got to be American.
Oh, Meg's back. Hey, Meg.
Crazy
Love it.
Dingo
Sorry.
must be American.
So sorry for having to mute you there before, Meg. I really am. I hope you go back and watch the whole video and you'll see why I had to.
Yeah.
She was just on a roll, I think. She didn't hear. I don't think she heard properly.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Because this was Baz's stream tonight.
Yeah.
Because
So just blame Bazza.
yeah, it was Baz's fault.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
But she loves it. She'll be all good.
I kicked the base of my bed the other day. Actually, it was probably a couple of months ago now, and I didn't even know Bazza then, but it's his fault.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's no drama. I'm used to cop and blame all the time. Yep. Cop the blame all the time.
Meg,
But
you
that's
are
fine.
beautiful.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you for your question. I hope I answered it well.
Yep. If you'll have to watch the rest of the video to see what the rest of the questions were.
Right. Okay. Well,
I mean, you don't have to.
I had no.
Joey knows my opinion, and you know what? I very rarely will give my opinion on shit because I know, and that makes me a pussy. That's fine. I don't care, but I just can't bother getting into it with people. You know what I mean? Like I've just got to that point where I don't even bother giving my opinions anymore on a lot. I'm talking about.
I can totally and absolutely understand that, but for me, in this environment, as long as I'm only given 10% of a fuck, I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it's I think when you have a channel, it's it's different in a way because whatever I say comes back and affects people who subscribe to me. And very rarely will I talk about shit that goes on with me and other people on my channel.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring them into, I don't want them to can't go here or there. No, but that's what I'm saying. That's how a lot of these mob things start because, if I say something on my channel, I know some people will be like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go fight.
Of course, and that's why I believe that. Like, it's my belief that on a platform like this, where nobody really knows anybody, nobody should be talking shit about anyone.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, you're playing a pretty dangerous game. I mean, I could be in Australia or I could be in Utah.
There's just the portion that you actually see of people. And whether they're on there for whatever reason they're on there for, that a lot of people on here are nothing like what they portray on their channels. Of course not.
They're only putting out what they want to be seen.
Yeah.
That's it. And who's going to prove them wrong from 11,000 kilometers away, the arsehole of the world, which is where we are. Who in the hell's going to be able to prove them wrong? No one. But what my question is why does it matter if I've got to prove them wrong? You want to live, you want to live in some sort of fantasy land where you're Rocky Balboa. You go for your fucking life, buddy. Knock yourself out. You know.
Yeah.
Don't trip down the stairs on your way.
Yeah. Or do
you know, like, and no one should be talking shit about anyone because nobody really knows anyone. You know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is for me, if I even see someone talking shit about someone else, well, you've got no credibility, mate, because you don't even know the person that you're talking about. You know, and by the way, if you want to put all that energy into something, how about you go and fucking vote? You know?
Yeah.
Like, go do something useful with all that energy that you got and all that anger that you got, instead of just directing it at someone that you don't know. It's just a random. We're all connected now. It's a brave new world. You know, it's not like it used to be. And the world we were raised for, Mel, it don't exist anymore. It's just we weren't raised for this. Yeah. I was probably one of the last generations, you know, like I left school fucking early 2000s. So after that, everything sort of started to kick in. Like our kids have never known life without the internet.
Yeah.
It's never happened.
Yeah. That makes me sad in a way. Yeah. There's so many good things that can come from the internet and so many bad as well, you know.
Yep. It can be used for absolute trash and people get attracted to the trash, and that's why I asked the questions that I asked, and I urge everybody that watches this, please weigh in on it because I want to know. I want to know what makes these people.
Hazard demands answers, people.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
And he's just said what I couldn't.
I pay my fucking taxes. Yeah. I'm entitled.
I'm going to get him on my channel next week, and you know, we'll talk about that later. I'll get him to do some questions for me.
I can do that.
And yeah. You can hire Bazza out now, guys. $50 an hour, which isn't bad. You know, you put your super chat on, you'll make it in no time at all.
I'm actually worth more than that out of hours, just to, you know.
Just an FYI.
My job.
It's YouTube. No one's got that much money. All right.
We're poor. We are poor, and I sit.
I know we're fucking poor.
I sit on the thrift store couch.
I know we're fucking poor. We ain't rich.
I need to tell you, Mel. My chair has a name. It's Alicerella. Okay.
She's a weird kind of.
My body pillow is called Negan.
Yeah, and I've got another one.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Humguffin is my. You remember my first chair with our first live? You were in my first live. I was sitting on a different chair. That's called Humguffin.
I name everything, Joey. Everything. Obviously, because you've met Lawrence, Stuart, and Walter. You know, everything gets a name.
What the fuck? Everything there's a cult trying to come in here.
No, we're about to go wee cult.
Yep. All right.
No, mate.
I'm out.
All right. No, there was a wee cult in the back area.
It's not Tory, is it?
I don't know.
Might be Larry.
Oh dear.
My wife is called Woman. Yeah, well, mine's yelling at me to get back in the kitchen too. So.
All right.
Thanks for having me up, guys.
It was good fun.
Thanks for coming up, Mel.
All right.
Next week, John.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep.
If you've enjoyed what you heard and you want to hear more of the same on a wide variety of topics, well, please let us know because I enjoy doing this. This is pretty fun. But that's basically all you're ever going to hear me talk about true fucking crime because that's as far as that goes. I'm much more interested in talking about bigger problems that affect all of us, not just shit that affects none of us unless we let it. So
exactly, Larry. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Spacey. Thank you, Mel. Meg. Meg's all good. What did she write up here? It was funny. What did Meg write?
She wants to shout your beer or something.
Yeah. Well, I've told Meg that I'm a Jimmy girl, and I don't drink beer.
No.
But anyway, thanks for. Did I miss someone? Irvin, did I say thank you, Irvin?
No, you didn't. You rude cunt.
Thank you, Irvin.
So she's a rude bitch, isn't she, Irvin?
See? He even calls me cunt.
Yeah, fucking oath I do.
See that?
I've got the bill of sale. I'll call her what I want.
And wait. Awesome name, mate. Awesome name. All right. Thanks, guys. We're out.
Peace. See you.
See you, mate. Mates. Cunts.